Hello, everybody. Welcome to another fine episode of the Ascendant Art Podcast. We've got my co-host Slender Dad here with
Whoa,
our
whoa, whoa.
regulars.
Episode just started. We don't know how it's going to turn out yet.
Yeah, you can't say that it's a fine episode.
I'm
It could be
sorry
a great
that
episode. It could be a real miss. Like, this could be that episode where we just were not on our game.
I can't think of an
Not
episode
with us.
where we haven't been on.
Yeah,
our
we're
game.
so professional all the time.
Look, no, people don't come here for professional. They come here for entertaining. If they want professional, they can
come here
go.
for train wreck.
Hey,
People
we're
come
fun.
to tchotchkes for the atmosphere and the attitude.
How many individual pieces of flair are you wearing, Slender?
Oh, wait, what you want me to express myself? Here. This is me expressing myself.
You don't see it, but he's flipping off the camera. That isn't turned on.
No, I'm not turning it on. We're live.
I know. Maybe one day you'll get a VTube avatar that can flip double birds when you're doing that.
I hope Slender's has big boobs like Horrors does.
Ooh, that's an idea. It'd probably bring in more viewers.
Well,
Slender
If you
Man.
want a pro, hire a pro. There you go. Smokey is here for the Slender Rage. Yeah. Smokey, by the way, featured very prominently in one of my favorite Ascendant Arcade videos of the week, where he was like, I win.
Yeah, and then I gave him the Price is Right victory music.
Yeah. We got Davina. Hey, Davina. If Culture joins in, we can start calling you Davinia, but
We say it right till he's
we'll
here.
say it proper till he comes in here. It is Friday, and we have women in the chat, so Culture could mysteriously appear at any time.
It is a thing.
Slender, we need to work on something in regards.
Low Spec
to
is agreeing with you with the old fashioned iconography that we used to do on graphing calculators.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
What was it? What is it?
8,008s.
8,008. Yeah, 8,008.5.
Yep.
80,000.
80,085.
85. Big 80,085s. That's what you want.
Huge.
Huge. You know what is not huge is Borderlands. That thing looked like a god awful piece of shit, and guess what? It was a god awful piece of shit. It is you.
0%.
My God, it was at 0%, and the first positive review was Grace Randolph.
Grace Randolph.
and
was
as of the
hilarious.
clownfish video I was watching talking about that, it was the only positive.
Let's check.
And
Right
her
now-
idea of positive was go see it because it has Kate Blanchett.
It is setting
Ooh,
at
wow.
we have 89 reviews and 9%. So what is 9% of 89?
Like 9.
That's 10 reviews roughly. So 10 out of 89. Let's check. Who are the people giving it positive? We have Andrea Garcia. What does she say? Cast is top notch. The connection between Tiny Tina, who is Ariana Greenblatt, and Lilith is one of the most striking points. All right, that seems like a bought and paid for review. This is okay.
a quasi-decent video game.
That's a super striking endorsement. I know I'm going to go out and spend my money based on that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'd rather play the third game with my eyes
Ooh.
held open like a Clockwork Orange than
look.
go to the movie.
Check out this negative one. Borderlands is perfect viewing for people who thought the Venom pictures were too artsy fartsy.
Oh man, I like the Venom movies, but they are pure schlock. Like,
Did you see the trailer for the new one?
It actually
I
looks like a
haven't
fun thing.
There's
I haven't
nothing
seen
wrong
that
with
yet.
schlock, though. I mean, all of us grew
That's
up
what
in
I'm
the
saying.
80s. And,
Yeah.
and no
and we
offense-
all know Mad.
Well, yeah.
Here we go. Grace, I think, nailed it. Davina nailed it. Grace's check cleared.
Well,
Oh, bad take, Bojan. I would argue there are no Tiny Tinas. Wow, that's a gauntlet being thrown down, but that's something that good take Bojan can deal with. And it's not my business. What do we got here? not everything needs to be achieve high art, and these games are fantastically ridiculous as well, so it fits the world. If you leave fan casting at the door and just want a fun time laughing and nudging your friends, Borderlands is an enjoyable romp. I don't think that's going to be accurate for most people, because I think the Borderland games, yeah, they're fantastically ridiculous, but they're consistent. Like there's a world there. I mean, everything I've heard is this movie is incoherent. So what do we got here? If you're looking for an afternoon of silly goofs, great costumes, fun action, and Kate Blanchett showing up to work, you could do worse than Borderlands. You could. That's a review. You could do worse.
Yeah.
It's not exactly great.
Load more. Let's see. We've got to be running out of positives at this point. Look, there's a rotten. Oh my god, I forgot. Eli Roth directed this. Ah, man, how the mighty have fallen.
He wasn't that good.
But then they did reshoots and brought in another director, didn't they?
Allegedly, Eli Roth basically checked out and didn't give an F. Davina, you'd think a movie based on violent vault hunting would be a no-brainer. I mean, Fallout worked. I mean, I would have thought Fallout would have been harder to make a fun show than Borderlands. Like.
Do you think Fallout is the reason that this got greenlit, though?
No, because this got greenlit so long ago, it's not funny.
Yeah, I think this one got greenlit before Fallout did.
But there's always the studios that start to try and make something just to compete with something else, like, Red Planet, Mission to Mars, Armageddon, Deep Impact, things like that.
Yeah, but I think this was also greenlit like way back.
It was 2018 and then shot in 2021. They've been sitting on it forever. So if anything, Fallout would have been a result of there being this movie out there somewhere.
And I would think that that my dates are lining up right. This got greenlit after the third game came out. They're like, oh, everybody loves the franchise. Here's the newest game. We can make a movie out of this. And look what happened.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Davina, that one's...
Yeah, Imp, is the Tiny Tina's Wonderlands fantasy theme worth playing?
If you've never played a Borderlands game, I guess. But I find that character to be annoying in anything other than short doses.
And so they decided to make her
a main character. She's had one redeeming moment of showing humanity in the entire series. And that was from a DLC from part 2. I think Slender probably knows which part I'm talking about.
Yeah, I think so.
Because they put out a DLC of her running the equivalent of a D&D game in that world. And she keeps asking about the one character, Roland. When's he showing up? When's he coming? When's he coming? Well, the DLC takes place after the game, and he gets freaking wasted in the game. And then it kind of dawns on her, like, oh, shit, he's dead. He's never showing up. That's literally the only time she shows herself not being a sociopath.
Well, that's definitely an uplifting moment that would make the DLC worth it for me. So that's cool. Borderlands probably won't be remembered as a great video game adaptation, but there's a lot of fun to be had with it. Has there ever been what great video game adaptations? Fallout was probably the best one so far.
Great video game adaptation?
As a straight story adaptation?
As an adaptation like of the
video game. Are we talking
game.
Just film or are we talking anime too?
Super Mario?
I would say, all right, live action. Let's qualify it live action.
And then there hasn't
Super Mario, then. That thing was amazing.
Are you talking about the John Leguizamo one?
Oh, that one, yeah.
Davina, I heard BioShock is being adapted. I would have no faith in Hollywood being able to pull off BioShock.
No, they're going to get all the wrong messages from that.
Yep.
I know a lot of people didn't like it, but I liked Warcraft well enough.
I thought, Warcraft was okay. Warcraft just seemed like this is something that Hollywood is doing lately, and it just annoys me. Warcraft was like a full 2-hour movie that was basically advertising the next movie that would be awesome. Like,
Well, that's
hey,
the problem. Is they
we're
went
putting
too
all
far
the
back
pieces
time.
in place so that we have to let you know who all these characters are. So when the real shit sets off next movie, you'll know who everybody is.
Yeah, but that's the thing is they went too far back in the timeline for that franchise.
Well,
They were
and let's be honest.
way too
By
far
the time
back.
the movie was over, I felt nothing. Like I wasn't
They
upset with the
should
movie. I
have.
didn't think it was bad, but there was also nothing I remembered that I was like, oh, that was a great moment. Like none of that.
What they should have done, and maybe Brahma and Slender will agree with me because they've played WoW. They should have started with Warcraft 3 and the Arthas story instead of
Oh
going
yeah,
as far
definitely.
back as they did, because that's a much better. Arthas is a much better villain.
Yeah.
And
But
everything
they
they
were
have
hoping
going
to get
into
to that. So
yeah, well, everything they had going on in the early versions of Warcraft, it was more. I don't want to say just straight esoteric, but you start getting into some kind of weird shit.
yeah.
Whereas that is just a fallen hero story. I have played that Divina. It's a lot of fun. It definitely takes inspirations from 80s action movies. Like the pistol you get is identical to the gun RoboCop carries. A lot of nods to 80s action movies, a lot of humor. It's probably one of the better things that the Far Cry franchise ever did.
Trying to think of any other video game movies.
They're all bad.
Well, all right,
All
so
okay,
I mean,
there was
don't
one that
say
was decent.
Double Dragon.
Do I have to slap you, Chad?
Street Fighter.
I was
No,
about to.
ugh.
All right, here's what I have.
Actually, the first Mortal Kombat was pretty
That's
good.
what I was
we
just
all
about to
we
say.
all kind of liked it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the first
but-
Mortal Kombat movie was not bad.
The first Street Fighter movie isn't great, but it did give us one of the greatest line
It
deliveries
was
of
a
all
Tuesday.
time.
Sorry. I don't remember any of it.
You don't remember?
For you, the day bison graced your village was the most important day of your life. But for me, it was Tuesday.
I
love
that.
That one is so perfect. And Raul Julia really going so hard in that role when he didn't need to, because he knew it was going to be his last, basically. He was doing it for his kids.
Yep.
And man, by the way, Ming-Na Wen hasn't aged. Weird.
Is that who that was?
That was Ming-Na Wen, yeah.
No,
Yep.
Jesus God.
Yeah, Raul Julia is so good. I can't think of anything he's done where he wasn't awesome, even like
Even the bad stuff, he's been awesome in.
I'm even thinking of like Moon's Over Paramore, or whatever that
I was
terrible
thinking
movie
about the
was.
made-for-PBS movie, Overdrawn at the Memory Bank.
And I mean, God knows, Addams Family, he was great as
Yeah.
Gomez.
And you can tell how great Overdrawn at the Memory Bank was because they MST3K'd it.
Nice. But yeah, so you know what? I would say Street Fighter, even though it's not a good adaptation, is probably the one I have the most fun watching, because it's like, if Mad were here, he would talk about it. They weren't trying to make a bad movie, but it is a bad movie.
It just happened.
So everyone in there is just trying to make a movie. Like, they're committed, they're acting, they're doing it. And it just, like, when Jean-Claude Van Damme in complete earnest acting looks at me like, I'm gonna go down there and kick Bison's ass so hard the next one will feel it. It's just like, come on. Like, the fact that they actually did Blanca in the movie, like they had him genetically modified to be like a green giant furry guy, and then they did Dalsim so he could stretch. It was so terrible, and they did it. I loved it. I was around 13, 14 when it came out, and I had a
think for
great
me,
time.
it's still Mortal Kombat wins out.
Me too.
Might just be because of the soundtrack, but
By the way,
Mortal Kombat.
this is another quality point. As a 13, 14-year-old, Kylie Minogue as Cammy was top shelf.
Was it a game accurate costume?
Yes. Did you not see the Street Fighter
No,
movie?
I have taste.
Yes, it was. They had the braided hair, the tight shirt, the camo pants, everything. And then
That'd do it.
yeah, she was pretty, and this was, peak Kylie, coming off Locomotion. So that was good. Street Fighter was great. Street Fighter's fight choreography in hindsight wasn't spectacular. It was good, like when you're watching it in 1995 and it's got the kick-ass techno soundtrack.
I mean, also to be fair, as much as we've all said we like the original Mortal Kombat movie, that wasn't the greatest choreography either.
That's what I was saying. The fight choreography is not.
Well, you said Street Fighter, not.
Oh, did I say Street Fighter?
Yeah.
I meant Mortal Kombat.
Well, there was a couple fight scenes that were actually not bad. Who had the guy that has no martial arts, so there's that. But like the chick they got to play Sonya, it's like you don't even know how to throw a punch, do you?
No, yeah, Sonya. That was God, I forgot what her name was. I think she's
also
married
House
to
on Haunted Hill.
I think she's married
something.
Bridget Wilson or something
Nielsen.
like that. Nielsen. She's married to Pete Sampras. That's what I remember about her. That basically she quit acting.
She was the one in Billy Madison, wasn't she?
Yes, she was. She was Jessica. She was.
That is correct.
That was Miss Vaughn, right? Veronica Vaughn.
That Veronica Vaughn.
Yes.
She was somebody they were trying to push in the early to mid '90s as an actress.
Yeah, well then she married Pete Sampras, who had stupid tennis money because he won all those Grand Slams, and they were like $5 million, purses a piece. Which in 1990 dollars, millions of dollars were actually worth millions of dollars. Hey, Soul Assassin, welcome. Would you rather be worth here's a quick 50 million today or 10 million in 1995?
That's a good question, actually.
Because you would have a lot more buying power out of that 10 and 95 than you would now.
Yeah, true. And back in 95, you can invest in certain stocks that were underperforming then that now perform very well.
Apple. If you put $1 million in Apple in 95, you'd be a billionaire now anyway.
Dude, and if I went back to 95, I could bring one of those books that had who won all the different sports, and I could take over the whole town.
You could open your own casino. It'd be Slender's Casino.
Easy, Biff. Easy.
Anyone in there?
Why don't you make like a tree and get out of here?
And her last name was Wilson.
Yeah.
Bridget Wilson.
Bridget Wilson. There we go. Yeah.
Or buy Nvidia stock, like Davina said.
Yep. I think Apple would have a better return. I mean, I don't know if Nvidia were they around in 90, like in the 95?
They were, but I don't know if they were publicly traded at that point or not.
I know at that point, like in 1995, Apple stock was trading for less than $20 a share. Because I remember thinking in college, and I was stupid at the time for not doing it. When I moved into my dorm freshman year, I saw all those on the entire girls' floor. The only computer people were taking out of those damn boxes and putting on their desks were those like fuchsia, the
Mac all-in-ones,
the like iMacs that had all the pretty colors.
Mm-hmm.
And these girls, no offense to them, they're great. They were in college. They all ended up with degrees. Good for them. They didn't realize that why can't I do my work on my Mac? Because Microsoft didn't make Word for Mac back then. you're gonna have to make it a file format that converts back and forth and go to the computer lab because all your professors wanted your documents in Word. It was terrible. They kept having these trouble. They looked like what was it out of Zoolander when they're hitting the Mac? Where's the computers are in the files are in the computer. But at the time I was thinking, man, I should buy some Apple stock because I was 18. I was like, I'm old enough to buy stock now. I should do it. I was working, and I looked at the time, and I think it was about $18 a share. And I was like, oh, I can just take like a couple $100 out of a paycheck and buy shares. And I didn't because I was stupid. And I looked at it one time, like a couple of years ago, because the stock is split, numerous times since then. If I had invested like my $200 in like that time, it would be worth like $100,000 now. I was like, motherfucker.
Oh, there's I had an opportunity to get my hands in some Bitcoin back in the day. I'm like, yeah, this will never catch on. This will never be a thing.
Okay, so Microsoft ported Word to Mac in 1985. That's news to me because I could never get it to work in the 90s on a Mac. Maybe that was more fancy stuff than I knew how to do. Word, by the time we were using it around like it was Office 98, 99, and I don't remember it working on a Mac at all.
I also think the other thing too was Macs didn't come with it. It was something you had to go and buy. And something tells me too that Microsoft wasn't giving campuses a discount on the Mac version because at the time, who used the goddamn Mac?
No, I do remember
everybody who was making yearbooks.
By 2004, my wife, who was in college at that time, she got an iMac, like the laptop Mac, and we had to buy Office for Mac at that point. They made it, and you got the student teacher edition where it was discounted as long as you had, a school email address. You had to register a school email address. You could get the discount. And yeah, that was the one I actually went out and bought for her and installed, was Mac Office 2004. And she used that for the rest of her college career. It was weird. I remember there was an issue where, like, for a while it would make read-only versions of the files when she went to an actual PC.
It intentionally.
Yeah, it was eventually Steve Jobs got them partnered up. So yeah, all that's to say, I wish I had bought the stock at that point. It would have been life-changing.
Both.
Yep. And then me and Slender would have, full featured avatars, and I wouldn't care about how much it costs because it'd be like, oh, that's nothing.
If only one of us was super rich, that'd make everything so much better.
I do plan if I become wealthy for whatever reason, I'm definitely taking care of my boys, my bros, because I want to have people around that I can trust. I don't want new people who became friends with me after the money.
Well, that's like people asking me, what would I do if I won, multiple millions of dollars in the lottery or something? Be like, all right, pay off my parents' cars, make sure their house is paid off, make sure their bills are negated. Same with mine, and that's it. They're like, you wouldn't buy your own house? No. What about a car? Yeah, I'd buy a car, but it'd just be the same kind of car I'd buy now. Because I know friends who've bought luxury cars and they regretted it.
Yeah.
Because who wants to pay $50 for a goddamn gas cap? Happened to a friend of mine, lost the gas cap for his Infinity. $50.
Yeah. Bro dollar bills, y'all. That's buy land in Texas.
Chad's gonna make it rain.
Well,
we could just buy a streaming compound.
I do consider myself a professional entourage member, so
I would, that would be kick-ass. I would probably, I would definitely, it would be Texas, Tennessee, Florida, one of those tax-free states. Tim Pool is in Maryland. Well, he's not in a tax-free state. He's not that far from us, actually. So Tim Pool is like really around the corner from us. Like, there's been times where I've known people going on his show, and if it was bad weather and they weren't going to get their flight out of that regional airport they use, I almost message them like, if you need to crash somewhere, you can come here. No, he's not in New Jersey. He's near Harper's Ferry, West Virginia.
Yeah, he used to be in Jersey.
Yeah, and I would warn you right now, anyone who tries to go out there, they are armed.
Yeah,
and so is everybody else in this county.
Yeah.
And we could just build an underground bunker on Comics Division's land.
All I really and this is the silliest life goal. You remember Mr. and Mrs. Smith, where Brad Pitt would go out to his garage, the outdoor like shed one, and he would hit the thing, and then it opened up, and he had like the gun room underneath the shed.
Yeah, he had the.
I want
the
that,
John Wick
but stocked
facility.
with bourbon.
I guns, fuck bourbon. But I just want, like, I told my wife after we watched that movie,
the guns above the bourbon. Like, why has it got to be one and not the other?
I was like, there's two things. If we ever win like stupid money in the lottery, I want the Mr. and Smith, gun thing within the garage, like where you hit the button and you open up James Bond style. And I was like, and I want a remote control, like joystick operated Gatling gun type thing on my property. So if anyone comes at me, I can just be in the thing and just
joystick operated.
Joystick. I mean, I'm sorry, it'd be fun.
I would sure you use a first party joystick and not a third party like the sub did.
I would almost like, do you remember they had in the late 90s, early O's, in all the cool arcades, like the Dave and Buster style ones, they had that one where it was like almost like a gun pod thing where you were in like a turret and it would be a bubble and it would move.
Tanks.
Tank
battle.
I would I would want that basically kind of set up. Just sitting in a chair, running around, like and my wife was like, who would be coming? As like, if we have that kind of money, there'd be people trying to do it. And she's like, no, I don't think that'll happen, but you can have it if we're that rich. And I was like, that's right.
That's not gonna get you onto a list.
If you have that kind of money, you don't get put on lists anymore because you can make donations. Donations remove you from lists. All of a sudden, my name would be on Act Blue, and I would be making donations, and then I'd be free and clear to do whatever I want.
Then you just got to worry about if you have a Secret Service detail.
As long as you don't have the one where that looks like Rosie O'Donnell.
The one that's hanging out with J.D. Vance now?
If you want to know, like, hey, are you worried that J.D. Vance is some kind of deep state operative that they're going to take Trump out to replace him with? No, because look who they put on his detail.
Right.
Let's see. If Brahma won the lottery, he'll say nothing, but there will be signs. Oh, where does this hidden stairway go? Nice 80s music playing while walking down to the aisles of bourbon. Davina says, so waiting for the Epstein client. Yeah, that's not good. Yeah, they're not ever letting that out.
So I came across an interesting release from me and Brahma on Twitter. It's a picture of books that were taken, a picture taken of these books in FromSoft's office, and they were described as the inspiration behind Bloodborne, or some of it anyways. And there's stuff about Renaissance and Gothic architecture, obviously. A book just called Weapon. And then you see stuff like the art of H.P. Lovecraft and the Cthulhu mythos.
Geiger.
And no, I'm not. No. There's a bunch on there. I don't know what they are because I can't read Japanese. But there's also a Hellboy graphic novel in there. There's also a Lord of the Rings sketchbook in there. And the art of the world of the Dark Crystal.
Nice.
So it's kind of neat to see that.
Love the Dark Crystal.
I even like the TV show. Surprisingly.
Dark Crystal is great. TV show. Oh, the Netflix one? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody last night on Comics Division show had seen Dark Crystal. None of them reacted when I made comments.
My thing, what I've noticed with people
Next
that are like,
thing you're going to tell me they hadn't seen Labyrinth.
Yeah.
Is a lot of people have forgotten that movie.
Dark
I don't know
Crystal
how
is
you
amazing.
forget Dark Crystal.
How do you? They were even
it damaged us as kids as much as the Neverending Story Artax scene did.
That never bothered me as a kid.
It was kind of.
I didn't like it.
Now there were scenes in the Dark Crystal that got to me as a kid, but the horse drowning in quicksand didn't bother me.
You know what got to me more was when I lost aggro in Shadow of the Colossus.
Shadow of the Colossus. Yeah.
Movie called Brotherhood of the Wolf. Yeah, that
was definitely an inspiration because Miyazaki's actually flat out said that one.
Yep.
Davina, you have to go see the Dark Crystal like immediately.
Yeah, seriously.
Like it may be worth leaving the stream to go watch it right now.
Both those movies. You hear me hate.
As long as you've dropped a like and maybe shared the stream, I'll allow it.
Yeah, you have to bring in someone else to replace you. Obviously,
yeah.
We can't afford to lose you right now.
We're really like we're trying to get monetized in 25, right? So we need the
25
subs.
Years.
No,
I was about to say, if you're trying to get monetized in 2025, I should probably just leave now.
Yeah, we want to monothrive in 25.
Yeah. Our project 2025 is monetization.
I crap on a lot of movies, Davina, but I will flat out say, go watch both those movies.
Dark Crystal and The Black Hole.
And The Black Hole, yeah.
You know what else is actually underrated from that same time? Something Wicked This Way Comes. Another underrated 80s kind of gothic movie.
I mean, case in point, you've mentioned it before. Kroll was underrated.
Kroll was also the most expensive movie ever made when it was made.
Yeah.
So it's hard. Like
and
it just
used
bombed.
to get played on TV all the time. Like it seemed like every weekend there was a channel that was playing Kroll.
You know what? That's right. Bad take, but monetize that mess 2025.
The Last Starfighter was also a classic from that time.
Taking my son on the 20.
That's a great movie.
The 25th. The 25th of August. I am gonna my son is very excited because I've talked up The Last Starfighter. Maybe I've talked it up too much. I was like, this movie's great. Wait till
Davina Black Hole is made by Disney, but they've pretty much
old Disney.
It was made like 1979.
Yeah,
Disney.
and it's a movie they don't even reference anymore. I don't even think they know they made it.
I like a lot of older Disney stuff that was a little more experimental. Like I still enjoy Fantasia. That was fun to watch.
I mean, Black Hole and Black Cauldron pretty much sum up that entire era of Disney where they were quality movies that just bombed and almost destroyed Disney. Tron, they also spent a ton of money on Tron and it didn't make money. All three of these movies have become cult classics, but the problem with cult classics is you don't actually see the return, because one of the reasons they became cult classics is people had VHS machines you could copy tapes on. Yep. And so people made copies that didn't result in dollars back to the studio. Robin Hood was from the late 60s, I believe.
Yeah.
And what I love about that era of Disney animation is you can see them reusing the character models.
Yeah.
So, most of, at least a big chunk of the stuff in Robin Hood is reused animation from Jungle Book and a few other movies that they had done. And it's pretty hilarious when you see that.
Same exact scenes, just recolored.
Now, Davina said she did read the Black Cauldron books. You know what messed you up as a kid? Secret of Nim. That movie. Yeah. That is like, oh, what are they? They were rats experimented on by the National Institute of Mental Health. That's what Nim means. Oh, okay.
Yeah. That movie actually creeped me out as a kid.
That movie had far too much plausible lore. This is supposed to be a kids movie, and I'm tracking. Like, there's a lot going on here.
You know, looking back, that means Anthony Fauci was the guy messing with those rats.
Yeah,
right.
He probably also cut their vocal cords.
Another good one from that time period was Flight of the Navigator.
Oh yeah, with Pee Wee Herman as the voice, and you didn't.
Maybe the only time that Sarah Jessica Parker looked somewhat good.
It was he was the voice of the machine. The alien spaceship. Davina says, I just watched Secret of Nim a few months ago. It's great. Too scary when I was a kid. Yeah, it messed me up. Nicodemus's hands. You remember how creepy and like knuckly and like I know. I did love. I mean, I'm a big fan of Dragon's Lair. I mean,
you can see a lot of the stuff that he did in Secret of Nim carry over to the art style he used in Dragon's Lair.
Let's see. Shifty says Disney was making great live action movies during the 80s. They did Splash, Flight of the Navigator, Snowy River, Natty Gann, Shrunk the Kids, and made TV stuff like Not Quite Human. Yeah, that was they would, for a lot of those movies, they actually released them under the Touchstone banner, which something that Disney should bring back, because it's a good argument, because Deadpool is a good example. It's rated R. It's a hard R. There's lots of stuff like that. You don't necessarily want the Disney logo right before that kind of movie. That's what Touchstone was.
But they're kind of doing the Marvel thing that way. Marvel and Lucasfilm they're kind of using for that.
Yeah.
Well, here's another movie that people probably don't realize that Disney had a hand in. Remember Dragon Slayer?
Yep.
Yeah.
They did all the special effects on the dragon.
Yeah, well, they do all the special effects for everybody now because they own Industrial Light and Magic, which is one of the ways I think they launder money on these wickedly expensive TV shows. Because I think they have, especially if you're doing a TV show or a movie and you're getting a tax credit based on your total budget, and you control Industrial Light and Magic, who does the special effects, which is the biggest budget driver of your movie outside of star salaries. You run up that number, and it's money going right back into the corporate account from one side of the ledger to the other, but you get to apply for the tax break because the budget was so high. I'm just saying, I think there's something that they should look into, but it doesn't matter because that's one of the topics for this week. Disney. Look at this, man. This is Disney's stock ticker. They're down to $86. They closed at 86.21 today, and they've dropped another 20 cents in after hours trading.
Yep.
And this is all right. So this little peak right here in the beginning of April was right before that shareholders meeting where Nelson Peltz and Perlmutter and them were trying to get seats on the board. And so this is the day of the meeting. It was like April 2nd, and you can see immediately after that it's just been
So did Deadpool Wolverine not do anything for him or what?
It has done nothing because they
owe $5 billion for Hulu.
Yeah, because they ended up they said that they were only going to have to pay $10 billion for Hulu, and they put out guidance to this past week that we're probably going to owe at least $5 billion more, maybe more than that, because it's gone to arbitration. Comcast wants them to basically end up paying like $25 billion for it. Disney said 10 is, when they bought Fox. So Hulu used to be owned by 3 companies. It was a joint venture between Comcast Universal, who owns NBC, 20th Century Fox, who owned the Fox network, and Disney, who owned ABC.
Yep.
So each one of those companies owned a third of Hulu. When Disney bought out Fox, they owned 2/3 of Hulu, and that's when Hulu suddenly became Disney Plus Part 2. So part of the deal in order to be able to buy Fox, there was an arrangement made. It was part of the negotiation with like the Federal Trade Commission and all the other departments that they would basically, there was a floor, like within a few years by 2023, which was last year, Disney would either have to sell their portion to Comcast. Or Comcast could demand that Disney buy them out, and there was a guaranteed valuation of $27 billion for Hulu, meaning the minimum that Comcast was going to get was $9 billion. But Comcast argues that it's worth more than that. Disney says no, $9 billion is exactly what their share is worth, and so they went to arbitration, and it's currently been in arbitration for basically around almost a year now.
Almost a year.
So they'll end up, and this is where it's great. Comcast is pointing out that Hulu was the number 2 streaming service, and look at what Netflix is worth. And the reason Hulu is worth less now is because Disney purposefully made it worth less because they wanted to promote their own product, Disney Plus, which Comcast didn't have an ownership stake in. So it's very complicated and fun, but they're going to end up paying at least, and this is their own words now, if they're admitting that, it's going to be more.
Yeah.
By the way, Epic Universe is only going to cost $2 billion. So if you think about how much Hulu is going to end up putting in the coffers of Comcast Universal, it's enough to make
the whole park
8 Epic Universes.
Yeah.
So they're going to basically expanding their allegedly they're looking at getting into cruise ships just like Disney does, because that's apparently a moneymaker. It's crazy. But Disney is like, since this is where they were at right around here, where its value is around 115. This is where Perlmutter had sold all his shares by here.
Yeah.
And it just keeps going. Like every time they do a razzle dazzle, it pops like maybe a few dollars. But then once people realize that, oh shit, the theme parks are actually not making money, it just keeps going down and down and down.
It sounds like nothing's making money at this point. Maybe because you alienated 90% of the people that used to fucking support you.
Yeah, and Soul Assassin, that's right. That's why they're bringing back RDJ, the Russo brothers. They are basically telling Marvel they've got to make money. Stop shenanigans.
Well, the other thing,
Feige's doing it, but
yeah,
We've
the
talked
thing with
about
that
it.
is
KK
they
won't.
better also hope they make a good movie. They just bringing back RDJ and the Russo brothers isn't going to net them $1 billion, no matter how much they're hoping for that. They also better make a damn good movie because there's enough people like me who just don't care.
Well, the other thing is I think I was watching Midnight's Edge, Culture was on it that day, and they were talking about, like, if you look at Robert Downey Jr.'s salary and the Russo brothers' salary, before they even roll one frame of film,
You're like 180
that movie
million.
is $100 million budget just on one actor and the directors.
That's not a good sign. So that even reinforces what I say even more. They have to make a good movie.
I think they said they were paying the Russos over 80 million for both movies.
Yeah, they're
around 80 million, and our RDJ is getting more than that.
Their quote was significantly more.
Right.
So he's probably over 100 million plus just for
right. So that's 90 million per movie.
200 million. I could be wrong on that.
Well, that might be the cost for all of them.
All of them together for two movies. So I mean, that would be, you're starting out 100 million in the hole for each movie.
Yep. Bad Take Bojan is like, Disney hit bottom when even I don't want to visit Walt Disney World this winter. Yeah, Bride of Slender, for a family brand, they sure seem to hate families.
Oh, my mom's side of my family, they used to go to Disney every year, every other year. Like my aunts and uncles would take their kids or whatever. As far as I know, none of them have gone in like 10 years.
Disney has made it so complicated.
Changed. But yeah, there's they just, even before like the kids stopped, graduated college and all that kind of stuff.
So we've taken my son several times, and mainly it's because my father, who's retired military, qualifies. Disney does, they have very significant discounted tickets for military, and you could get room discounts, like 30-40% off rooms and things like that. And you could get, if you look up, you can find the prices online. If you're retired military, active duty military, or DOD, you can get basically like 5-day tickets for Disney for like $200. It's a pretty good. It used to be a better deal. Now Universal, but what I can say is, over the years of going, you just felt the difference from Disney.
That's what my family members were saying. Is just, even my mom was just, the quality of everything was just slowly and steadily going down.
One of the first things you notice went wrong, it was around, I think, 2017, when Disney abandoned what they called their look standard, which cast members, because that's what Disney calls their employees, cast members, used to have one of the most rigorous look requirements.
They couldn't have like visible tattoos.
No visible tattoos. You couldn't have beards beyond a certain line. Like, you had to, if you weren't playing a quote unquote character who had that look, you weren't allowed to have it. You had to smile. Like, and it made a difference, right? It made one of the main things Disney emphasized, and this was, you could go back and watch training videos and things like that, was every person at Disney, no matter what job they are, is also a custodian. Like, Disney would have a thing where they would even train like executive vice presidents. If you're walking around the park and you see a piece of paper or something on the ground, you pick it up and you throw it away. Yeah. You're not better than anyone else. Everyone here is a custodian as well. Whatever your job is, you're also this. They
Disney
stopped
then, Chick-fil-A now.
Yeah. They stopped Davina, right. Yeah, now the princesses have beards. Yeah. Walt was very strict. He emphasized this, and this is one of the things that made it good for so long, was he told people, and this was their entire concept around Disneyland and eventually Walt Disney World visits, is for every person who's coming in, it could be their first and only time taking their family to this park. And it absolutely has to be the cleanest and best experience that they could ever have. That was like, you never know if they're only coming this one time, so you make it magical.
And we need more Waltz.
That. Yeah.
Like, I think we have a serious scarcity of Waltz in the Americas now.
We have a few that are doing pretty good. I do have my own disagreements. I even got into a little bit of the Twitter back and forth on this one, with Elon was tweeting about inflation as a result of government printing money, and was going over that. And it was a nice little tweet and thread that he did. But I did point out, I was like, the one thing Elon left out is that energy costs are one of the primary drivers of inflation for the average American, because we stopped drilling for oil, we closed down coal power plants, we switched to all these renewables that can't generate power reliably. And one of the things people, if you're not in business, you don't think about is energy costs been going up impact every phase of production. That means the factory that makes it has to spend more money. That means the truck that ships it has to spend more money. That means the refrigeration, storage zone has to spend more money. That means McDonald's this is one of the weird things. Fresh food is cheaper now than processed food because there's so much more energy cost inherent in processing the food than fresh stuff. Which is why and then you talk about minimum wage going up through the roof. Those are, not necessarily government printing money, but it's policies that cause the average person to have to spend more money. And someone was getting back and he was like, what do you expect Elon to address everything? And I was like, no, but since Elon's in favor of cap and trade and he runs an electric car company, he might have a blind spot for this one. And this is, if I'm wanting Trump and somebody, and Vance on day one of their administration, should be Keystone Pipeline, should be energy stuff, should be the energy stuff, right?
Yeah. Commission new nuclear plants.
Yep, nuclear, coal, and gas are the way. Yeah, nuclear is actually the fourth generation nuclear plants that are basically the size of sheds that you can kind of build into small places. There is a place I don't mind. Here's where all right, solar power. I hate solar power all on the ground. It's terrible. You end up taking up green space if you're an environmentalist to put these panels on. Where solar panels make perfect sense? Friggin' suburban tracks, like in my place where I live, which is a subdivision. If you think about it, if you're an electric company, you pay for the rights to put solar panels on everybody's roof. You pay for it yourselves. All the ground is already cleared. It's elevated. It's got sight lines. You don't have to worry about trees falling on it. You don't have to maintain it. It doesn't get on the ground. It doesn't kill small animals. Why wouldn't you do that? That's where you put the solar panels. And that would make a big difference. That would basically help power an entire subdivision instead of trying to buy thousands of acres of land.
And then why aren't we doing that? Wipe it out.
Yeah. Why aren't we doing something like that? Because if you've got a homeowner who's maintaining their home, it's going to be in a better position than just sitting out in the middle of nowhere, trying to generate your stuff.
Yeah, kind of like what cell companies did by asking people, can we put this cell tower on your land and we'll pay you?
Yeah, artificial intelligence and crypto mining. Crypto mining was eating up a lot, especially in Texas. Now, Texas was stupid, and they tried to switch to wind power, and they screwed their grid up so bad. They need to really Texas is one of the, I'm going to say this,
they were the last hope. They were the last ones that had their own grid.
Yeah, Texas is one of the worst. They make decisions that I don't agree with on a state level quite often for a Republican state, a conservative state. You would think for having the control that they have of their legislature and their stuff, they should be leading the way. They should be tip of the spear. They should be doing everything.
They should be Florida.
They need to be careful with that. I mean, more and more people keep flocking to Austin. Texas is gonna flip.
Well, they need to. That's why immediately they should pass state electoral college. Anyway, that's for our Sunday show. We'll keep that there. But yeah, Disney.
What's the name of that show?
That would be The Bullpen. It's featured on Brahma's channel. So if you're not already liking and subscribing over there, you should do that. This stock. So what's interesting is Ike Perlmutter said that if it drops into the 70s, that's where he would buy in again. If you think about it, he sold a hostile takeover. He sold several. He had 3 million shares that he sold at 100 and at an average sale price of 115 times 3 million. He made, actually, no. What did he make? Bucks. He made all right, 115
A couple
times.
bucks. No big deal.
Yeah. Like pretty good amount. And if he buys in at 75, he's still like he's lowered his cost, and he could end if he uses the same amount of money he got and buys that amount of shares at 75, he could end up being more powerful as a voting shareholder. And they still would have delivered a profit to their stuff. I mean, Disney has a lot of pieces that are attractive. They have a lot of capability of doing good things, but you need an advanced degree to go to Disney now. Like, you need park reservations. They got rid of fast passes. You have to
get over to like Genie, right?
They do something called Lightning Lane. They just got rid of Genie Plus. They had just done that. And it's it's basically pay for play, but it's pay per lane. Like, you have to pay $15 a day to have the system. And then actually that's like it's got surge pricing. Slender might know about what I'm talking about, because it's the same way they do tolls around here, where depending on the traffic, the price will go up.
Oh yeah, that's why I never use those roads.
Yeah.
When the road's not needed, it doesn't cost hardly anything. When it is needed, that's when they charge you to use it.
Yeah.
That's when it's like $14.
Yep.
Per axle.
So what they'll do, so they have that surge pricing. So that lightning lane, if you buy the lightning lane, you get it's basically the old fast pass system. You get 3 ride passes with it, but they don't put the newest best rides on it.
Right.
Like, those ones are only available as what they call individual lightning lane or virtual queues. So you either have to, and that individual lightning lane can be as much as $29 to $40 per person to get on that ride.
One time
ride. But they have a virtual queue. Okay, what's a virtual queue? You have to hop onto your Disney app, and they make this available at 7 a.m. and 1 p.m. They make ride allotments available that you can try to book. And the virtual queue is you get an arrival time, and then you get to go online. And those virtual queues fill up and are unavailable within 30 seconds to 1 minute of becoming live at 7 a.m. and 1 p.m. So if you go to the parks, like if you're in Hollywood Studios or Magic Kingdom, at 1 p.m., you're going to suddenly see everybody. It's going to be like looking like a friggin' movie, where everyone stops and looks down at their phone and is hitting the button to try to get, what used to be Splash Mountain, which is Tiana's Bayou Adventure, or that Tron light cycle ride. That's the only way to get those. And then so nobody's getting them. Like, there's a select few, and then a lot of people feel burned out. It's not like the old days where you could, like, if you really wanted to ride a ride, you might have to wait in line 2 hours, but you could ride it. You didn't have to pay extra. You just had to commit your time. Not anymore.
I mean, I only went to Disney once when I was a kid, and that was like in '89. And I don't remember waiting that long to get on anything.
Were you at Disneyland or Disney World?
World.
Yeah, I mean, '89 was around a recession era. I think.
The parks were still packed.
No, that was a little before. That was still Gulf War era. So, yeah, they had more rides too. They've actually taken rides offline, and they don't have them.
And the rides take themselves offline because they're not servicing them very well.
The other thing is, they purposefully. A ride, if you get into theme park logistics, when they talk about capacity, how many people can ride a ride in an hour, right? You've got, that's where they have rides that are called what's omni movers. That means they're continuous motion. So if you think of Haunted Mansion, right? It's just that track is always going. If you've ever gotten onto it, you have to walk up and hop on as it's moving.
Yeah.
And then they close it. That's an omni mover. That can eat up people, right? It just constantly is putting people on that ride constantly. And then you have other rides that are roller coasters, right? Where, you've got like six little cars that are attached on the train that hold about 4 people each. And that's how many people. And you can have usually 2 or 3 of those going at one time on a roller coaster. So they have much less capacity. What happened is Disney, on some of the, like on Space Mountain and some of these other ones, they have higher capacity, but they won't run it. They are purposefully making it take longer because they want you in that line longer, so that you're not doing other things because they don't have enough rides. They don't.
And then they can create scarcity and such too.
Exactly.
It's
So,
it's like conflict diamonds.
yeah. So that's one of the things somebody was doing an analysis on. It was, I forget which site. It might have been Park Place. It could have been, where they were looking at the fact that Haunted Mansion should be doing way more people than it is, but somehow it isn't. And then all of a sudden they're pushing you to get on. But if you pay for Lightning Lane, you don't have to wait in that line.
Woo, Lightning Lane.
Yeah.
And what's funny is this could also be, I think you guys would probably agree with me on this, maybe. It's like the same thing with free-to-play video games. They make the experience entertaining enough, but still being frustrating to the point where, you know what, I want to do this. Fuck it, I'll spend the money.
It's entertaining but grueling until you
Oh no,
spend the
you've
money.
run out of energy. You're gonna have to wait 12 hours to play anymore.
Or do a what the flick.
Or you could buy some gems.
Yeah. Oh, as long as Mad's not having joy, that has to be shut down. Smokey, I went to Disneyland in the mid-90s. Longest wait was about 45 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, I waited on longer lines at Great Adventure than I remember waiting on at Disney.
Yeah. Personally, for me, I don't understand the obsession with Disney as a theme park. I mean, if you really like Disney, sure, but the rides they're for little kids. I would, even as a kid, I think the first time I went, I was already in middle school. I would rather go to a Six Flags. Space Mountain was fun. That was about it.
Yeah, Davina over here. I distrust Frito play games. I guess they're making chips too. So
Frito play games. Are delicious.
that's a new one. We gotta actually. I want to use that. Like Matt, Matt would probably get a kick out of it.
There's a couple out there, Davina, that actually aren't very predatory, but they're few and far between.
Yeah, so Disney is designed to be family friendly, so their roller coasters are usually the equivalent of what would be the kid coaster if you went to a regional theme park.
Yeah.
So something like Slinky Dog Run or something like that. But they do have, and these tend to be the most popular rides. Space Mountain is one of their legit roller coasters,
and it's a good one.
Big Thunder Mountain is.
I've been 3 times, and Big Thunder Mountain has never been operational anytime I've gone.
That's weird. It's a good one.
That's as a kid and as an adult. It's weird. That one's never been running when I've been there.
Splash Mountain was a traditional log flume, which is a generally an older, roller coaster style ride, but water one. It's a traditional water roller coaster is the log flume. They also had it's no longer Aerosmith branded, the Rockin' Roller Coaster at Hollywood Studios, which was a launch coaster.
Yep.
And was actually a really good. I really enjoyed it. Like if you went on that one in the early O's when it was new, it was a really fun ride.
Yeah,
it didn't get it didn't get maintained as well, so it became rough, very rough. By the end, I think they're going to do a refurbishment on it now.
I think I did that one, and the only thing I remembered about it was like I felt like I needed some kind of chiropractic afterwards because it shook so much.
It was smooth when it first came out.
Yeah, you must have. You probably wrote it when it was late. Like it became a problem. They didn't maintain it very well.
Hey, if you want to hear about bad coaster, like shaking your spine out of your back, go look up the Green Lantern ride.
Go look up the Anaconda at King's Dominion. That thing is a piece of work.
My Anaconda don't want none.
Unless she's got buns, son. So Universal is in Florida. If you take your family, if you've got older kids, Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure and soon to be Epic Universe have way better rides.
Yeah.
They have the Incredible Hulk roller coaster, which is routinely a top 10 worldwide roller coaster rating. They have a new one called the Velocicoaster, which is a pretty awesome roller coaster. They have what's another?
Didn't they have like a dueling dragon one at some
No,
point?
they pulled that one out because they replaced it with that's where dueling dragons used to be is now Hagrid's
yeah.
motorbike adventure. Yeah. So that's where Dueling Dragons was.
Which was a good coaster.
Oh, it was super underrated, and there was never a longer than 5-minute wait for that thing. It was great. I like that one. They have. All right, I'm just thinking of going through the park. I mean, if you count the Spider-Man ride as it's not really it's kind of more of a motion coaster.
Yeah. Do they still have the King Kong thing?
Yeah, the King Kong one is just kind of a ride, like not a roller coaster.
Yeah, it's slow
just like
along the rails.
It's like a tram kind of thing.
Yeah.
Now, the Jurassic Park Riverboat Adventure is a pretty solid, like actual like water ride where you have a big drop. I'll tell you, the best log flume ride I've ever been on is the Dudley Do-Right Hacksaw Falls one in Islands of Adventure. That thing is fun. It's a giant. It's like way bigger than Splash Mountain drop, and you will get soaked. They have a Popeye themed, I guess river rapid like boat. One of the circular boat ones, whatever they call those.
A rapid ride usually.
Yeah.
They also have one of the drop rides.
Dr. Doom drop.
Is it Dr. Doom now?
Yeah,
Didn't it
Doom.
used to be who's the guy who did the bird? Wasn't that a Hitchcock movie?
If it's in Islands of Adventure now, it's in the Marvel Land, and it's Doom drop. They also have what they call the Storm Force Accelerator, which is teacups, but with storm theming from Marvel's X-Men. If you loved 90s comic books, Islands of Adventure is a really cool, like, place out of time with 1990s styling for all the Marvel characters. Like, it's great.
Yeah, bad take. That's the last time I went to.
Yeah, Terminator is gone. It became the Shrek movie that they did, the movie experience. And then now Shrek has been replaced with a new Minions ride. I believe it's the the Evil Con. They just opened it last year. Jaws is gone. They replaced that's where Harry Potter's zone got built in Universal
Jaws
Studios.
Was a cool ride too.
Yeah, the dude from Mallrats got married at the Jaws ride like a Chad. Yeah. I was gonna propose when Jaws popped out of the water. That's amazing. She called me callow and weak-willed. I thought that was the only part of the letter that was complimentary. Kevin Smith used to be good.
I loved that movie back in the day.
And Soul Assassin brought up in the chat one of the most nefarious and infamous theme parks of all time, and I had the grace of being an hour away from it. Good old Action Park. If you've never heard stories about this place, look them up, because this place was just batshit insane.
Yeah,
it's down in New Jersey. It's on an old ski resort.
New Jersey? Oh, that's all you had to say.
Yeah. Well, one of their rides was the Alpine Slide, which is essentially you on a skateboard with a handbrake that might work, going down a concrete culvert.
Right.
Needless to say, multiple
in my
people,
hometown.
multiple people got hurt on that one.
Because people would come to a stop and people didn't know that the person in front of them had come to a stop.
Because the brake didn't work, and they'd hit a corner like 65 miles an hour.
Oh.
And just go launching right over the side.
Sweet.
And everybody who worked there were all teenagers who didn't give a fuck and just got drunk and high while they were at work. And they also never, let's see, somebody died there because there was an exposed wire in one of the water rides.
Well, that sounds completely
people,
safe.
Employees would sneak in there at night and steal their go-karts and ride them down the parkway.
I kind of want to go there now.
It's long gone.
I know.
That place got shut down real quick.
That place sounds like they knew how to party.
That place was just absolutely. There were so many different ways you could get hurt there.
I don't trust any of the traveling carnivals because they any of the real rides at those places feel like what you're describing.
In some cases, I would actually trust the traveling carny rides over stuff at Action Park.
Yeah,
depending on what it was. Yeah, because that place was just
they tried to design a water slide ride that was literally a loop de loop and you were done. And they paid employees extra to test it. Everybody who tested it out got stuck at the apex of the loop.
Right. Then you drop.
And so imagine being in a sealed black rubber tube in the middle of the summer out in a field.
All right, so here's where Universal was probably at the last time we had the Back to the Future ride still.
Yeah, blow it up a little if you can.
That was a cool ride too.
I've never been to Universal.
All right, so this was regular Universal Studios. You'd walk in the main gate. They had a Nickelodeon backstage right at the front. There was Terminator right here, Terminator 2 3D. They had the Twister experience, which was just you standing in a room as the wind got really, really hard. It was hilarious. They had the Barney's Playland Kid Zone right next to the E.T. ride. That was the classic one that they built in the 80s with Steven Spielberg. And, E.T. would say your name wouldn't be like, goodbye, and then whatever name you typed in when you were at the end of the ride.
And that seemed like some serious tech at the time.
It certainly did, right? You had Jaws. Here was the Jaws experience. You had Earthquake. Now all that's gone. So where Jaws is now a basically the Jaws and Earthquake area
became the Harry Potter land.
Harry Potter land. Back to the Future is the Simpsons ride, and this whole area is now Springfield. This Wild Wild West ride is now the Men in Black. The Terminator 3D ride here first became the Shrek one, and now this whole zone right here is Minions. There's several, 2 Minions rides, and it's all Minions themed.
Dude, I'm kind of getting sick of the Minions.
Kinda.
Imagine how much money
I'm really
Disney would
sick
be
of the
making.
Minions.
Okay.
If they went with that fan-made map for Galaxy's Edge, yeah, that would have been. Disney would have been printing money with that theme park. Let's see. Hanna-Barbera is gone. This zone right here became a roller coaster called the Hollywood Rip Rocket Express, and they're actually going to be taking that out soon. There's another weirdly Jimmy Fallon themed roller coaster experience. They have a Fast and Furious one.
Oh, well, if there's a Jimmy Fallon themed one, you can go ahead and get rid of that to make space for anything else.
What is it? Crack up laughing in the middle of its own run?
Yeah.
Yeah, it can't fucking do a bit without being amused at itself.
Yeah.
Over here in the New York zone, where it has the Kong thing, that became the Mummy ride, which is actually still a pretty solid roller coaster over in Universal. I will say I do miss the Back to the Future ride. I would love them to bring that. They're probably going to lose the Simpsons license because Disney owns it now. And I think that's coming up for renewal in the next couple years. It would be awesome if they brought that back as Back to the Future, because that was a good ride. But this is what Universal used to be like. It's even bigger now. So Islands of Adventure, you can see the logo here, is basically right on the other side of it. It's a separate park, and you can actually take the Harry Potter train from the London themed Harry Potter zone in Universal Studios over to the Hogwarts themed Harry Potter zone in Islands of Adventure if you have the 2 park ticket. I think if you've got an older kid, I would say 9 or 10 or older, they're going to have more fun at Universal probably than Disney.
Yes. That's kind of what my point was in the original point. It's just Disney's rides. It's more the experience of seeing the characters for most of the kids. The rides are nothing special. But I'd still rather just go to different Six Flags around the country and see a few different places rather than
now that
always
Six Flags,
go to... Yeah.
You're going to want to look up because Six Flags and Cedar Fair merged.
Yeah.
And starting next year, the season passes will basically get you into Six Flags or Cedar Fair parks. That pretty much covers, and I think they're even going to merge with SeaWorld. You're going to basically be able to go to any theme park that's not Disney or Universal on a single pass.
So they're going to allow you to buy a pass that works at all of the
Cedar
places?
Fair
Because,
always
like,
has. Yeah, Cedar Fair
Okay.
always has.
'cause,
That's
like,
one of their selling points.
Six Flags in Missouri, you know, you get a pass, you've got a pass for Six Flags in Missouri. Or Six Flags in Fort Worth, you've just got the pass for that park, not for all Six Flags. So they're changing that.
Here we go. I'm going to show you because our local regional park around here is King's Dominion, which is located in Doswell, Virginia, right around Richmond. You see right here, you can basically add it on. Get unlimited visits to all Cedar Fair parks with the Park Passport add-on. And look at here you go. Here's the Six Flags that they're adding in.
Yeah.
All the Cedar Fair ones. And they just did the merger, so they're still working. I think they haven't added all one, but Magic Mountain, Great Adventure, New Jersey, Great America, Illinois, Over Texas and Arlington, Fiesta, Texas, Georgia.
I love
don't
Over
see-
Texas.
Yeah, so I don't know how much it costs to add this on, but apparently you can add it on if you'd like.
Yeah.
It doesn't, where's the price?
Busch Gardens is still down that way, right, Chad?
Yeah, it is. And they are in the SeaWorld family of parks. So it's very possible if they finish merging with that one pass will cover it. And like it's one pass to rule them all.
Yeah, so I went there for a school trip when I was in high school, and I actually do remember that park actually being kind of cool.
Busch Gardens is a pretty awesome park. It's got a couple hyper coasters or giga coasters, whatever they call them now. They're pretty solid. It's famous because the first one they opened, Apollo's Chariot, is the one where Fabio was riding the inaugural ride
When
and
the
got hit.
seagull hit him in the face.
And it hit him in the face, and he was like, "It was a dog. The bird hit me," and he was bleeding out. They apparently had point of view footage, like they had a camera, and they just like they will never release it. It was deleted because Fabio was very unhappy with the experience.
I mean,
But
I'm not, a muscular Italian guy by any stretch of the words, but I think I'd be pretty pissed off too if I was riding a roller coaster going at those speeds and have a bird smack me in the face.
That's the payback for Randy Johnson smacking a bird out of the air with a baseball.
Yeah.
King's Dominion is a pretty good regional park, though. Look, this ride is going to open up next year. It is a launch coaster It's a winged launch coaster where you're actually free floating on the side, and it launches you, I think, 0 to 60. So this is like this is obviously the point, like the digital render of it.
Right.
This is replacing what used to be one of the most popular rides ever built at King's Dominion called Volcano. It was a double launch coaster. It launched you once, and then halfway through it would launch you again.
Is that just the technology that they use on aircraft carriers?
It depends. Some use electromagnets, some use the aircraft carrier style.
Steam?
Like it with the where it's the what is it called, a pulley launch, where it like
It's catapult.
catapult.
Yeah, it's a
Like,
steam catapult.
If you looked at did you ever ride the Incredible Hulk in Universal?
I don't think so.
So if you rode it, if you ever like at the entry tunnel when you're about to do that launch, you would look on the right and left and you see all these spinning tires. And basically, like, as your car got close, they like shot you out based on like it's spinning you out. There's some that are catapult, and then some are electromagnetic launch, where basically it preps you and then it shoots you out using electromagnet resistance, like where it just pushes you at that fast.
Right. That's what it's saying this one is.
Yeah, that one is, I think, the fastest. Like, you can get the most time fastest on that one, but you gotta invest in it. Like, it's a railgun ride.
They're going to electromagnets for aircraft launch on the newer carriers, and the problem they kept running into was it would rip the tow hook off of the jet because they torque up so fast by comparison to a steam-powered catapult.
Let me find the one ride. So they still have a full wooden coaster called the Grizzly's, pretty good. But where is the? Do they still call it the Intimidator? Oh, no. So this one's funny. They call this one is renamed Racer 75. When it originally opened, it was called the Rebel Yell. And because everything's politically correct, like 3 years ago, they had to rename it Racer 75 because can't name it Rebel Yell anymore.
What's wrong with Rebel Yell?
Because it's Confederate.
Confederacy.
Twisted Timbers.
We were rebels once too. Like this whole country, we were considered the rebels back in the day. You know, when we were trying to secede from the United Kingdom or the British Empire, I guess, at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Twisted Timbers is an interesting roller coaster. This was a ride called the Hurler. It was Wayne's World themed.
Oh, yeah.
For a short time, King's Dominion was owned by Paramount. Like, basically for the mid-90s through the mid-O's, Paramount owned King's Dominion and King's Carowinds down in the Carolina. So they were theming their roller coasters based on Paramount movies. And so they built one called the Hurler. It was one of the first ones they did. And they actually had in the holdout line, they got Mike Myers to do Wayne to giving the you gotta make sure you hold on to your loose articles and all.
And
that
if you're gonna spew into this.
Yep. It is a Billy Idol song, Davina, but unfortunately, because this theme park is in Virginia and right outside of Richmond, it's hard to say that it was based on Billy Idol. It's kind of going there, but they redid this. It was cool. So they on top of the wooden track, they put these. It's a hybrid coaster. They put these steel track and the coaster the wheels are actually inside it, so it can do like very micro spins, like where it's pretty fun.
I love wooden coasters. We've still got a few at Elitch's in Denver.
But you can see right here, you see how it does these small, like these quick
corkscrews.
The quick corkscrews, because it's able to do that. Slender, did you ever go to King's Dominion when it was still the Hurler?
I don't think so.
Yeah. So that one was pretty good, but the best roller coaster they have, and because they renamed it used to be the Intimidator 305 because it was themed for a Dale Earnhardt Jr. Not Dale Earnhardt Jr., Dale Earnhardt. I'm trying to see what they've named it now.
Dominator?
No, that's just regular steel coaster. Flight of Fear was the Outer Limits Flight of Fear. That's a launch coaster that's inside like Space Mountain. It's really fun. Where are you? What did they call it? Roller coaster. Backlot. This one used to be the they call it the Backlot Stunt Coaster now, but it was the Italian Job, and the cars were minis. And they had to pull like the branding because Paramount didn't want to keep doing it. Oh, here you go. They call it's Project 305. So the drop is 305 feet.
Yeah.
And it's almost like you can see you get like 95 miles an hour off that thing, and you will it is the roller coaster with the most occurrences of people blacking out off the speed and the G-forces. And it's an awesome ride. If you like roller coasters, they use the coolest straps. It's like NASCAR style shoulder straps. So they're soft and comfortable, but they still strap you in really good. And it's one of the most comfortable high speed rides. I want those shoulder straps to be used everywhere. They're just way more comfortable as a roller coaster harness. I have not been to Dollywood. I've heard good things. Dollywood is supposedly a really good roller coaster.
Is that in Branson?
It is in Pigeon Forge, which is right near Gatlinburg, near the Smoky Mountains. If you were coming to Tennessee, it's right on 81, so you would be able to go straight up to visit me and Slender in the Mid-Atlantic from there pretty easily. About a 5-hour drive straight up.
I see.
Anyway. But yeah, so I share. Kings Dominion is pretty good. It includes a water park with a thing. If you're ever in the area, it's a great theme park to check out. Speaking of fun stuff, Slender, Mr. Ascendant Arcade, you have any? How about turn the show over to you for your gaming corner, your weekly gaming news? I know you're doing gaming news videos with other people, so you can share some gaming news with us.
I did do some gaming news with some other people. Unfortunately, I had no power for most of today, so I don't actually have a whole lot of things. Yes, again.
I don't think you all quite understand how mountain folk Slender is.
Yeah, well, in that tropical storm that hit down in the Carolinas, yeah, I mean, it basically came right up the mountains and followed them through here, and we had a bunch of power lines down. It was bad.
Lily of the Fox Valley. I wouldn't say I have enough guest rooms to handle everybody, but we could have a cookout or something. We do a meetup.
We can rotate in and out.
Yeah, I mean, I would say Imp and Brahma probably get first priority on like guest housing.
Yeah, but the rest of you are intense at my place.
Yeah, I mean, Slender's got those acreage. It's just you're probably not going to enjoy the experiences.
You ever hear the hills have eyes?
Yeah,
we almost closed.
Slender is those eyes.
Yep.
Let's see. Bad take, but we almost closed out Norfolk office. Oh, because of the storm, I would guess. Yeah. Shifty, we had a ton of rain here in Roanoke off the storm yesterday. Good thing through dry summer. Oh, Shifty's down in Roanoke, so that's not bad. That's
It was raining like a motherfucker up here today.
Yeah.
It rained all day today here.
Oh, it was hot, humid, and raining all day.
Oh, we didn't get hot. We were at like 60 degrees. It felt like
no, we were at
the
like
beginning
85 plus.
This felt like the end of fall already.
Smokey over here. I'm gonna make a huge mess of Slender's place. I don't know. Slender, are Australians allowed at your place?
I don't think so. I don't have upside down ramps for them to gain access to the facilities.
And they would be weirded out when the toilet flushes the right way. That was my favorite part of That Simpsons episode when they're at the U.S. Embassy and they have all that technology to make it flush the right way. And Homer's like, God bless America.
That was back when The Simpsons was somewhat good still.
I mean, a show can't be on 30 plus years and stay fresh. It's just not possible. At a certain point, you just got to tap out and be like, we're good. We've covered it.
South Park's done a pretty good job because they actually stay topical to what's going on.
It is not. You got South Park's episode turnaround time is like 4 days.
I know.
So yeah, so that allows them to hit things that the South Park, Simpsons just can't. I think their turnaround time for animation is like 4 months.
Yeah.
And that's with a finished script.
But you'd think at this point they've got so much footage that they could just reuse some of it. I mean, so much animation. Just reuse some of it and reword it. I don't know.
The art style has changed over the years. That's the problem.
It has.
Because I like even in anime they tried doing that once that I remember, and people are like, "What the fuck are you doing?" They redid Zeta Gundam from a TV series to a movie.
What is you guys' favorite episode of The Simpsons?
Real quick, Bad Take Bojan says, we'll give you boys a call the next time we visit our timeshare outside Colonial Williamsburg. The Wyndham timeshare outside Colonial Williamsburg is pretty nice, so I'm pretty sure that's the one you're talking about.
For that, I would say I really like their Halloween episodes.
Yeah,
those were always good times.
Yeah.
I think my favorite was the election Halloween episode. It turns out it's the two aliens running. And after they conquer the planet, like Homer's like, don't blame me, I voted for Zerbog or whatever.
Right. I voted for Kang.
Yeah, our Kang.
I also did like the one where they go to Japan.
Yeah.
Oh, confirmation. That is the one. Yeah, it's a nice one. They also have a nice timeshare outside of the Smoky Mountains. If you use your points there, it's a good one, Tina. I'm sure you've looked at it. If you wanted to go in to visit Dollywood.
My favorite is the one where he eats the chili pepper and goes tripping with Johnny Cash.
That one was pretty good too. Yeah.
I'm just your memory, Homer. I can't offer any new information.
Or when he kicks the turtle and the temple rises up.
Oh, yeah.
It's because
Yeah.
I kicked you, isn't it? And the turtle just nods at him.
Where's the any key? The other episode I think is really quality for The Simpsons is the James Bond spoof where he gets recruited by the evil
Hank Scorpio.
Hank Scorpio, and
Yeah.
he's finally happy and fulfilled at work and valued, and the rest of his family is falling apart. Like Marge has nothing to do because all the stuff is automated, so she becomes a wine mom and drunk. By the way, Simpsons called that one, right? Like Lisa's no longer the most overachieving person in the school because she's at a school where kids care, and so she's very troubled by that.
No, it wasn't that. She was allergic to everything.
Oh, was that it?
Yeah,
I know.
remember she goes walking in the woods. She's like, "Oh, it's so nice to be out in nature. Oh, hi, Mr. Squirrel," and then just starts sneezing.
Yeah, that's right. And she becomes swollen and what was Bart's problem? I forgot.
He was treated like a retard at the school. He was
Oh,
literally
that's
put
right.
in the special needs class. He sits down next to that one kid. He's like, "Oh, hi, I'm from Canada, so they think I'm slow, eh?"
Oh yeah, and then I think was it Homer at the end is giving his notice as the James Bond character, and the team is storming the fort, like the base. And Scorpio's like, if that's what you want to do, Homer, you're a valued person. We appreciate you.
If you could kill a few
he pulled the walls?
enemies on the way out, that'd be helpful.
Yeah.
I did like the Frank Grimes episode too. It's been so long since I've watched any of them though.
There was a lot of good ones early on.
Yeah, well, like from season 2 to 10, I think.
Yeah, once they moved past the Tracy Ullman early animation style, which was like by season 2 or 3.
Yeah.
And then, through basically through the Simpsons movie. Basically, the movie was kind of...
They were starting to go downhill before the movie, though.
I
say
think
around
so.
like season 13 was when they started tanking a bit.
I will say the Simpsons movie was surprisingly good.
Yeah.
Spider Pig. Spider Pig.
He's no longer Spider Pig. Now he's Harry Ploppers. And the people elected me to lead, not to read. I have 5 unthinkable choices. Choice 3.
Don't you want to hear what they are?
No. Oh yeah, the Mr. Burns shooting. That was then it was Maggie. That was such a
Or the X-Files spoof they did with Mr. Burns was pretty good too.
Where he would get his eyes dilated and everything.
And he'd be like, I believe in peace and love. And it was like, oh, and all that time around the radiation has made him glow in the dark. Yeah, the Simpsons Family Guy crossover was terrible. I do like one of the peak things that has been Simpsons related was when the South Park did the Simpsons Did It episode.
Yeah.
Like where every concept that they were trying to do, like the Simpsons already did it. Simpsons already did it. Because Trey Parker and Matt Stone probably heard that.
Right.
All the time.
You know what's hilarious? Well, not hilarious really, but Seth MacFarlane, if you saw him on Bill Maher's show last week, that guy has TDS like none other.
Yes, he does.
It's bad. He was ridiculous during that episode.
Dude, when Bill Maher is schooling you, you know you done effed up.
Mm-hmm.
Because Bill Maher is one of the stupidest people who thinks he's smart.
He likes to blow and wave in the wind a little bit. I mean, he does get some things right every now and then, just because he is willing to occasionally call out leftist crap. But I mean, he still has TDS to a severe degree too. So,
well, yeah, he got sued by Trump and lost.
Yeah,
so of course he doesn't like the man. And what's really funny is anytime anybody points it out to him, he gets even more pissed.
Yep.
Is Shifty Jism right?
I still can't believe MacFarlane landed Daenerys Targaryen. Wait, is Seth MacFarlane with Amelia Clark?
I didn't know that.
I thought he was married to another woman. That seems weird, but I wouldn't really put Amelia Clark on a pedestal. She's averagely attractive, and her career's terrible.
She's above average. but she's not. She's not hot.
Is she?
Like,
is she, or is she just like? If you when she's not wearing the wig where she's got the white hair and she's got dragons, she's not great.
above average body, good face.
She's probably like an 8, 7.5, 8. I mean, so I guess that's above
That
average.
would be above
but-
average.
That's above average. By
Yeah, it's
quite a
kinda
She's
bit.
not a
above
10,
average,
but
too.
she's a few steps above 5 being an average.
Here's what I'd say: if you're going purely on the body, maybe I would probably say 7.5, 8. But as soon as she opens her mouth, it drops below a 5. She's
Yeah.
she's like tedious, like she's terrible. Slender knows some of our early shows covered some of her literary endeavors.
Oh, like her comic book?
Yeah,
oh,
Mother
that
of
thing
Madness.
was a nightmare.
But to be fair, also Sydney Sweeney, great
Them
body,
eyebrows, bro.
not the greatest face,
Yeah, but you know what? I'm good.
but it's same kind of thing.
No,
Yeah,
she
but
does
she's also
not.
seems to be a little more based.
She's not a
Amelia
10.
Amelia Clark has, from the neck down, can't compete with. She can't hold anything on Sydney Sweeney. Like, I'm sorry, Amelia Clark doesn't have the assets to compete.
Not
And-
the same assets. She's got assets.
Not even close.
We saw them.
I know, and they're not even close to Sweeney, which we've also seen. Sween. I will also like to go with Imp. Sydney Sweeney's probably also a 7.5 and 8 based on total body, including the face average.
Yeah, I'd agree.
But
Yeah.
as soon as she opens her mouth, it elevates
attitude.
because her
Yeah.
attitude. She's a go-getter. She's a team
She's not
player.
Pardon my French to all the women in the audience. She's not an insufferable cunt.
Yeah.
Well, and she knows
Soul
why
says-
people like her.
Sydney is aware of her assets and doesn't care if she offends others. And
Right.
yeah, so I would say, I mean, Sydney Sweeney's the kind of girl who would help her partner out, and I don't
She's-
think Amelia Clark would.
Yeah, I think Sydney Sweeney's a tomboy at heart that got gigantic boobs and was like, "Hey, people will like this."
It's a bad take. Bojan is saying, good take, Bojan. Watch Game of Thrones for the boobs, not the dragons. Honestly, in the first season of Game of Thrones, I thought the redheaded hooker was way better looking than Amelia Clark.
You paid more attention than I did.
Same.
Yeah, same here.
But Soul
Then
Assassin
again, I
brings
stopped
up
watching that after that even
Which-
makes season 3.
Hey, Slender, get clarification. Which does she think? She says, I think she's pretty, but we've been talking about two people. So,
Which
think
I
she's
don't
saying
know.
Sweeney.
Probably
Anna,
Sweeney.
Anna de Armas is right up there too. Soul Assassins.
all
Very
right,
correct
70s
on that.
rock fan is joining the show.
Did someone see big boobs? I heard
Yes.
big boobs.
Yeah, we did, and look who showed up.
We summoned 70s to the show. We're having an important discussion.
Big boobs.
The mutton lover is here.
The mutton buster,
Yeah,
mutton busting, the greatest rodeo sport.
mutton tenderizer.
Oh, they're tender, all right.
The one that killed Joffrey with a crossbow. Like, who killed Joffrey with a crossbow?
I thought
Joffrey.
he was poisoned.
Got
Joffrey died
poisoned.
by poisoning. Oh, is he talking
I think he
about-
means the one that Joffrey killed. Yeah, Joffrey killed with
Oh,
the crossbow.
yeah, the
not
one that
killed.
Joffrey... Okay.
Yeah,
Although, you know
I
who was...
misread that too.
Yeah, you know who was a goer for Game of Thrones and also on the Tudors was what was her name? Natalie Dormer.
The one
She's...
who looks like the female Bugs Bunny. What's her face from Space Jam? She has the
Lola.
same facial structure as Lola Bunny.
as Lola Bunny. I mean, look, I feel
That gif of her eating the apple in the hammock is one of the hottest things on earth.
Yeah, I also watched the Tudors for at least the first season, and it was quality. It was a quality show. And Natalie Dormer, if they were gonna, when they were talking about making a female Doctor Who, I may have been in chat rooms saying Natalie Dormer is who you should make the female Doctor
Yes, that's right.
Natalie Dormer eating apple.
Who.
in
Slim.
hammock.
That's where we first saw Henry Cavill, wasn't it? The Tudor.
The very first appearance was in the Count of Monte Cristo as
oh yeah.
as the son. But
Okay.
if you don't count that one, yeah,
You find
his
it, Slender?
first.
It was the very second first appearance by him.
Yeah. It
Yeah,
was really
it's
the
not doing
first
it
one
for me.
where he was a leading role kind of thing, because he was one of the dukes that was Henry VIII's friend and ended up having an affair with his Henry VIII's sister, as played by Gabrielle Arnoir,
Oh yeah.
who was
Gotta
super underrated. 30 years of solid attractiveness from Gabrielle Arnoir, all the way through Burn Notice. If you look at it from when she first popped up in like Scent of a Woman through Burn Notice, you're like that. I would, if you were with that girl for like 20 years, you would have not had any drop off. It's quality. That's quality work.
You would not have dropped off. That's true.
Okay, we've got clarification. They're both pretty. Sydney, look as she is nice, not just pretty. Yeah.
For me, it's something with Sydney Sweeney's eyes. It's almost like she's got a lazy eye or something.
She's got eyes.
I don't know what. I don't know what it is that throws me off on her face.
I will say I've seen
She's
some
got
recent.
a face.
Salma Hayek has put out some recent, I guess, social media images, and I am fairly impressed that things are holding up as well as they are.
As high as they are.
It's either there's been
I'm
surgery
sure there's
involved,
been work done.
It's been tastefully done, and
it's just to keep them lifted, not to make them bigger.
Which is, look, at that point, that's perfectly fine. You know, gravity is everybody's enemy at some point.
Especially if you're Robin Williams and Fern Gully. Oh, gravity works.
Salma Hayek Tua on that thing. Watch Bandita Slender, right? Well,
what was I watching today? It was a Leon Lush video. A few months old. But it was somebody going, I don't need the Hawk Tua girl. What I need is Pac-Man going, and they're making the sound of Pac-Man eating all the pellets. That's what I want a girl to do. You know the sound effect?
Womp, 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 womp.
Womp.
Yep.
Yeah. Are we doing a trivia? Did you find one?
Yeah, we've got one. I'm just I'm gonna make my case one final time because I found somebody did God help us, the internet has everything. We've got a side-by-side comparison. Clearly Amelia Clark is not competing in the she's single A.
She's
to triple A.
I said she's got an above average body as well.
She's in a different weight class. They're not competing directly against each other.
I mean, we bring Anna Darmus into the conversation, and Anna doesn't have tits.
No, Anna would be in the middle of the two. I think Anna probably has a bigger set than Amelia Clark.
Bigger than Amelia, yeah.
I mean, if
better faced than both.
Are we going with like Goldilocks, where Amelia Clark's too small, Sydney's maybe too big, but has the face issues? So Anna de Armas is in the Goldilocks zone of just right.
Anna de Armas and Natalie Dormer. I think that's where we landed.
Yeah, Bad Take Bojan says Amelia Clark is a UK 9. Yes, her teeth put her above the average.
I think I need to see them scissoring to make my final decision.
And they're both worlds above Daisy Ridley or whatever her name is.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, she said this week she has Graves' disease? That's messed up. I feel bad for her about that. I mean,
what is that?
What is that?
It's like a thyroid thing that's gonna mess up with her system, like
Lyme disease or something. Or
no, it causes
autoimmune.
Yeah, it's an autoimmune disorder. Eventually,
thyroid.
Yeah, I think eventually the thyroid could start causing issues with your own organ systems.
Can lead to serious heart problems, weak bones, breakdown of muscle, eye disease, and skin disease. So
yeah,
it's like nice.
Yeah, it's like basically the thyroid short circuits your immune system, and it starts actually attacking your own tissue.
Well, that's not nice, and I feel bad for her for that. Yeah.
No, which is just a little bit worse than being in the Star Wars sequels.
I really thought Slender was going to pull up that gif of Natalie Dormer when he said he found it.
I couldn't find a good copy. I mean, I got the gist
Okay.
of it, but it was really.
I bet
really,
there's one on Twitter that you could just
Got to be one.
use to respond to something in a private chat and then show it.
Natalie Dormer eating apple.
In hammock.
Yeah, I know the image you're talking
I've seen
about.
it.
She has the look.
She's got the look. That could be in the quiz tonight.
What did you settle on, Chad? Or is it a surprise?
It's gonna be a surprise. Let me see if I can.
Hopefully, it's not one that me and 70s and you have done backstage before.
No, it's gonna be. I wanted one that would be completely out of left field, which is 90s cartoon theme songs.
Oh,
this is it, isn't it?
I don't know. I
hang
can't
on.
see
Oh,
what you're
shit.
sharing.
Oh
This is
no! Oh,
Isn't this it?
Yeah, that's it.
That's terrible.
That's it.
That's the one I saw.
That's what you get.
That's an Algerian boxer.
Bad Take Bojan. Daisy Ridley is so annoying, but author Stephen Walton loves her. Yeah, that figures. That checks out.
She does appear in many forests.
Walton has unique taste.
Her forehead's too big.
I mean, she's probably what is it? She's from the UK. She might be like a druid. I don't know. That could appeal to him.
She's like a 5.5, maybe 6.
Okay,
Yeah.
this isn't because it's a GIF on Twitter. I can't get it to go bigger, but
All right,
this is
let's
it.
see.
Yep, that's the one. Don't even
Wait.
need anything
Wait,
uncovered.
how is
it's
her
just
shirt
the
diff-
look on the face.
Wait, how is her shirt two different colors?
Lighting.
Just two different GIFs,
quality?
two different quality of GIF. I don't know how you get that expanded. You can't expand the GIFs.
No, you can't do gifts.
No.
Soul Assassin says Walton loves wooden boards. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Natalie Dormer was my number one pick if they were going female Doctor Who. I thought she would have been the best call. She has like her acting style would lend itself. She's got a unique look. I do see now. I can't unsee the Lola Bunny thing. Thanks.
Exactly.
Drama. Jesus.
I mean, the first time I saw her, I was like, "That's the freaking sexy bunny from Looney Tunes."
Bad
And
Take
not
Bojan.
when Bugs Bunny was in makeup, the actual female bunny.
Bad Take Bojan says that is a GIF to die for. So that is apparently a meets her approval to be passed on to Good Take Bojan to peruse.
Well, I mean, it's tasteful. It's just a look in her face.
What about the redhead from Jumanji for Doctor Who?
Karen Gillan.
She was already in.
She was already in Doctor Who.
She was in Doctor Who several times because she was in Doctor Who in the Pompeii episode, and then she became a companion. It would be weird for her to then be recast again as the Doctor.
I don't know, because the Doctor Who traditionally over the 60+ years it's been going has had actors in it several times playing different roles, and I'm pretty sure some of them are probably doctors.
But
You know.
Well, Peter
Playing
Capaldi played
different roles.
Hercules and then played the Doctor.
yeah, but playing a companion for as long as Karen Gillan did,
Yeah, that's
and
different,
then
yeah.
becoming the Doctor, she would have to recognize herself as her previous companion in some
What if
way.
she had face blindness?
Plus, she may have been my favorite companion.
She was. I mean,
I liked Billie Piper, but I liked Karen Gillan a lot.
Some of the 70s
I
ones
liked
were pretty
Billie
hot.
Piper was really good in the Secret Diary of a Call Girl. That was a quality show with Billie
Some
Piper.
pretty cute companions in the 1970s in Doctor Who.
Who was the one who played his granddaughter?
Well, that was Victoria, was the name of the character. Deborah Watling.
Yeah, she was
Yeah.
cute at the time.
She was cute back in the early 60s. I think she's still alive.
And who was the one with Tom Baker who had her own spin-off show, Sarah Jane? or whatever?
Sarah Jane
Sarah Jane,
Chronicles.
Yeah, in the
was-
70s with Tom Baker, she was pretty solid.
Perry, I think, was a nice.
Yeah,
was a kind of
Billie
cute one.
Piper was in Penny Dreadful.
Yep.
You know,
Billie
who was
Piper
the-
had some English teeth.
Who was the? You know, who was actually very attractive was the second companion with David Tennant after Rose left. The Agatha Freeman, like the black
Martha?
one. Martha, she was
attractive.
Yeah, she was pretty hot. She was one of the hotter ones. Karen Gillian may have been the cutest, but I didn't like her character very much. I prefer Freema. Yeah, she was. I liked her too. I thought she was.
I liked everything with her and Rory. I thought the whole arc for both of the characters was fantastic.
The only thing I noticed is if one Stephen Moffat, who's actually decently talented as a writer, but went off the rails towards the end with his Doctor Who. He writes the same companion. Like he wrote first when Doctor Who relaunched, he would just write individual episodes. Because Russell T. Davies was the showrunner. So he did famously in the first season, he did the Are You My Mommy, like World War II one, the like empty child, which that was a freaky one where the kid had the gas mask like molded to his face.
Yeah.
But he also wrote the first appearance, like the Weeping Angels. The reason they're all up in his version is because he created them. So I think he got extra points.
And they should have been used maybe once or twice during that whole run.
Yeah. So if you remember the first Weeping Angels episode, he did a character called Sally Sparrow.
Was that Blink?
Yeah, Blink. And that character, if you look at the way it's written, is exactly the way he wrote Karen Gillan's Amy Pond character, which turns into exactly how he wrote the next one up, which was the brunette girl, Claire. He writes the same sassy girl companion character. It's like he didn't give them he wasn't giving them a different dynamic. The only thing that made Amy Pond better was Rory. Because she had Rory, there was a slightly different dynamic for her to be able to play.
I don't know.
But otherwise, she was kind of... I just got sick of being the same one.
The writing was kind of the same, but the two actresses played it completely different because Amelia Pond, or Amy Pond, she was very specifically... What was she supposed to be? Scottish? I mean, she was very Scottish, and then Claire was trying to match the Matt Smith energy with how fast she talked. So even though they wrote them kind of the same as how they acted, the way the actresses portrayed it was night and day between the two.
At once Claire was with Capaldi, she shifted that. Who is this one?
This is Nicola Bryant, who played a companion back in the 80s called Perry. She was pretty hot.
She just looks like any random gymnast from the Olympics when
I
was young.
I think she was a gymnast. Yeah.
I haven't. Davina says I haven't watched any of the new Doctor Who stopped in the 80s. Then you might have seen David Tennant's father-in-law as the
There's
last
Martha.
Doctor you watched. Yeah, she's got, like I said, she's got
There's
a very attractive, like
Sarah Jane.
Yeah,
Sarah
of
Jane.
the newer companions, I think Martha had the prettiest face.
I still think Nicola Bryant had a couple of good points. But...
I thought Claire was
that
pretty
face
good
is
looking.
Scottish, but the body says French.
So there was some pretty good companions back in the 70s and 80s.
All right, we doing this?
Yeah, I wanted one, like if Matt had committed and I had the time because I ended up having day job things that sucked up a lot of time. It would have been boy band guess the lyric trivia. So that'll be coming.
How the hell did they get this one of all things to go to 1649? You do 30 songs and it's like 10 minutes.
They probably have every one. We might stop early. I don't know. I think Slender will be more competitive in this one.
Probably because I really didn't pay attention in the 90s.
I could switch to 80s.
I don't know.
All right, we'll see.
No, we're fine.
Do it.
And plus, I thought of doing the 80s, but then I realized if I did the 90s, Bad Take Bojan would have been a mom by then, so she might have been watching the cartoons with her boys. So
can't give her that leg up.
Yeah. All right, let's see what we got. It's playing, but it's... That to me sounds like Powerpuff Girls.
Yeah, I was about to
That
say
is Powerpuff Girls.
Sure. Is it? Yep.
Definitely.
No clue. I have no clue.
Soul Assassin agrees. So. We're going to test the demographics of our chat. So yeah, Powerpuff.
They did a great Beatles related episode, didn't they?
It's not true.
Hundreds of references in it.
Oh, I mean, the Cartoon Network stuff from the mid-late 90s was actually really entertaining and good. Like that was Johnny
even I
Bravo,
like some of that stuff.
Powerpuff Girls, Dexter's Lab.
Yeah, they just forgot how to draw anything that looked like anything real.
It was a specific style. It was
I hated it.
A specific style called cheap.
It wasn't as bad as Cal Arts.
No, this one was specifically the guy who ended up doing Samurai Jack in that first Clone Wars cartoon.
Gennady
Tarkov. Yeah, he was one of their lead animators for that stuff. That's his style.
Is he the one that did Primal?
Yeah.
Yep.
Because I actually liked that.
Yeah, that's his style. He's got that very
It's almost like
abstract.
Yeah, it's like a manga influenced. It's hard to describe exactly.
Well, he did flat colors and stuff in Primal.
Yeah,
but it was still weird shapes.
Yeah, he basically created his own style, a very distinct style. Like when you talk to people about it, you call it the Jenny Tartakovsky style, and the problem is it moved on from that to the Cal Arts bean face dumbasses,
because that's actually cheaper.
Yep.
Captain Planet.
Yep. Man, so many of our current year problems could probably go back to Captain Planet being popular.
That was never popular. Who are you kidding?
I don't recall it being popular.
Oh no, it was popular. Bride of Slender knew. I mean, come on, everybody here knew about Captain Planet. It was popular.
Just because people knew about it doesn't mean it was popular, dude.
Davina, lame. Yeah. All right, Slender, would you say it was popular or not popular?
I didn't think it was that popular. I didn't think it was cool.
I didn't see a whole bunch of people buying action figures for it.
True. It didn't move merch.
It does now, which is weird.
When he was little, was he Captain Asteroid or maybe Captain Moon? And
I
then
recognized it as propaganda when I was a kid.
I like the Don Shield. Yeah, Brahma came out an angry conservative when he was like 5. He was like, "No, your propaganda is." He's like, "Put on Limbaugh."
It was like, sure, I may like Ferngully, but it's propaganda.
It's like Ferngully is,
I want Rush.
I was rooting for the workers. Okay.
Which freaking element is heart?
It's like,
yeah, you think they could have done at least.
Oh, that's Goof Troop.
Yep.
I'm not going to get any of these.
Yeah, I was too old for this.
Yeah, me too. Although my kids might have watched some of them, I guess.
Dude, we're the same age. You weren't too old for this.
I'm going to give Soul
We're not the
Assassin
same
credit
age.
because I think he was typing Goof Troop and it was just...
You're
How
still in
old
your
are you,
30s,
Bravo?
aren't you?
No, I'm 42.
I'm 42. I wasn't watching Goof Troop.
How weren't you watching
I didn't
Goof
watch
Troop?
a lot of Goof Troop.
We would have been
think
like
Goof
11
I mean,
when it came
you
on.
throw in DuckTales and Tailspin, I'll probably get those. Maybe
DuckTales-
Darkwing Duck, but that's about
Definitely.
it from the 90s.
DuckTales premiered in like 1987, so it probably...
In the 90s, I was already on to Star Trek The Next Generation and American Gladiators. I
Okay.
didn't watch a lot of cartoons.
Maybe I'm a genre buster here, but I was watching both. It was good. They were fine. Gargoyles was on in the
deep in my
90s, and
anime
that
phase.
shit ruled, man.
I never watched a single episode of Gargoyles.
Gargoyles was
What?
actually
Like
pretty
Gargoyles.
good.
Gargoyles is awesome. Hold on, we have to address something. Goofy is a cow, I thought.
Yes.
Goofy is
Goofy's
a
a
dog.
cow?
Goofy
No,
is
he
a
might
cow.
have-
He started
No.
off as a cow, I believe, and then
No,
but
he-
now he's considered a dog.
He dates a cow. He dates Maribel or whatever.
That's
Because
not
he's a
very
cow.
nice.
Pluto is
No.
the dog.
No, Goofy is a dog. Max is clearly a dog. He dated a dog girl when they were making the Goofy movie. They were all dogs,
So
except
is
for Pete.
Pluto like their
Pete is a
retarded
cat.
kid?
Pete's
Which one's
a
a
cat.
sheep? Is there a sheep in it?
I don't think
Just the
they've ever
Scottish
had the
version.
sheep.
Maybe the oceanic version.
Then I would never have seen it.
Eclay, Goofy is a Mog. He's his own best friend. Clarabelle. Clarabelle is the cow that Goofy
Clarabelle,
dates.
yeah.
I have no idea.
Nope, that
Something
one is not ringing
urban.
any kind of bell.
Yeah, it's
RoboCop,
Hey
the cartoon.
Hey I'll go out on a limb and be like Hey Arnold and some random 90s one like that or something.
Could be Hey Arnold.
Soul Assassin got it.
Men in Black.
There was a
Yeah.
Men in Black cartoon.
Oh, it was
Yeah.
like the new the real Ghostbusters cartoon. It was actually really good.
Never saw it. Didn't even know it existed.
Me neither.
It was on the WB, which is probably why you didn't see it. It was on their cartoon. It was I think it was on right after Static Shock. Fat Albert was a little earlier, and they don't show that as much because, you know, He Who Shall Not Be Named owns the rights and introduced all the Fat Albert video
And because
cartoons.
it's fat phobic at this point.
Let's
I mean,
not forget racist stereotypes are probably thrown
Man,
in there somewhere too.
can you imagine like how memory hold those shows have been? Like Cosby Show gone, Fat Albert
Yeah.
gone. They don't even play A Different World anymore because it's tangentially related to the Cosby Show. So it's weird. Like 3 really long lasting popular shows just never to be talked about again. Which is
Yeah, I
weird.
don't know. I'm so confused by all that because, like, don't get me wrong, he definitely did bad things, but there's no consistency in what happens to these celebrities when they get caught up in some sort of scandal like that.
I don't even know if it's about that or just erasing that in the 90s and 80s, we actually had a whole bunch of black-led sitcoms.
Yeah.
And
That were
Well,
popular.
like, you look at that.
they were
and then-
popular, and now anybody born prior to 2000 doesn't know that any of this existed. I think they are absolutely
Right,
trying
but
to
what I'm
just memory
saying is-
hole it to separate everybody again.
What
It's
I'm
weird
saying is
because
then there's
in the-
other celebrities who actually have way worse scandals, like often with children and shit, and they're not getting memory hold. As a
Right,
matter of
but
fact,
that's what I'm
a
saying.
lot
It
of
has nothing to
Hollywood
do with
wants one of them to
Cosby.
come back from France to make more movies.
I'm saying it doesn't have anything to do with Cosby and that. It's what show from those time periods do you see with the black-led family anymore? They want to pretend like, no, things weren't kind of all right in the 90s. They don't want the new generations to know that, yeah, we had all these shows.
Because if you think about it,
Because now everything is a first.
they kind of memory hold Family Matters even.
Yeah.
They still play Sanford and Son marathons, what Shifty says. It's funny because what I was going to say is in the 80s and 90s, the 2 most bankable Hollywood stars
Will Smith
were Will Smith and Eddie Murphy.
and Fresh Prince was on every single day.
I mean, so...
But no,
Yeah.
we didn't have any shows back then because we
Not
were all
until-
racist.
You never got black people in television until 2016, Brahma. You know it.
That's what I'm
You
saying.
know it's a fact.
It's
Dude, black people didn't exist in the 90s.
That's right. No music, no television.
there was no
movies.
diversity until this last
All the
generation,
way
Generation
through
Z
the
was born.
2000s, it was nothing but white people in America. We were 110%
tending their
ethnically homogenous.
tending their plantations.
I
yes.
mean, I've
Now, Soul Assassin, I think I'm going to disagree with you. You say Eddie Murphy was comedy, Will Smith was movies, TV. Eddie Murphy, from when he did...
Was a TV and movie star.
Well, he was a movie star. Like, he started in comedy and into television, but by 1983-84, he's making Beverly Hills Cop. He's making another, 48 Hours. He's making friggin' Golden Child.
Oh,
was
Golden
a hit.
Child's so good.
He's getting
I mean,
paid to be in
yeah.
movies.
He was Trading Places, one of the greatest movies of
Coming
all
to
time.
America.
Coming to America is fantastic.
Dude, Eddie Murphy put butts in seats.
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you in the movie theater I worked at, which was opened in the 80s, there were soul glow stains that I'm sure came from people watching Coming to America with their Soul Glow in their hair. So
Chad
That's
is
what
the
happened
most
to me.
racist person I know.
That's what happened to me. Too much Soul Glow.
that was the funny. Let your soul glow. Do you remember that part of Coming to America where they got off the couch? There was three states. Oh. Eddie Murphy was in that music video with that Acolyte chick. What?
Say what?
Which Acolyte chick was?
There was
in
a chick in
music
Acolyte?
that was in a music video with.
You know, I
Eddie
mean, that
Murphy?
Amanda
People
chick
still
whose
make
parents are so
music
retarded
videos?
they can't even spell Amanda.
People make music videos now?
Oh, Rick James, bitch.
Oh, Rick James.
uh,
He was once in a band with Neil Young.
Eddie was a triple
5
threat.
minutes.
His girlfriend likes to party all the time. Party. No, that song.
We're never going to get through this.
Let's see.
One fine day with a whoop and a purr, a baby was born and it caused a little stir. No blue button, no free-eyed.
I have no
Cat
idea.
Dog? That's Cat Dog.
You think that one's Cat Dog?
I think
Okay.
that's Cat Dog.
Never even heard of that show.
That was part of Nickelodeon's weird era.
Was a little cat dog.
Never heard of it.
On the road to glory, ain't no turning back. Got to be.
That
That one I ain't
sounds
got.
that sounds early '90s. If I wanted to guess,
American Gladiators, the cartoon.
they probably did have a cartoon. Bride of Slender got Cat Dog too. That was some. It was,
Really?
I didn't like.
Mighty Duck. That's right. They had a cartoon. I'll be honest.
Never
I
knew
really actually thought that jersey was pretty nice when it had the duck with the hockey mask on it.
That was much better back then.
Yeah, than what they have now. I wish they would go back to it, but I don't know if they. I mean,
It's
they're
a
the
rights thing.
Yeah, they're the Anaheim just Ducks now, right? They're not
Yes.
Mighty, you know,
Yeah.
because Disney
No
doesn't
Mighty.
own them anymore. Yep, forgot about the Mighty Ducks. It's weird that they were a spin-off cartoon of a movie that had nothing to do with the cartoon that became a hockey team that used their logo that had nothing to do with the cartoon.
Pure opportunism. I actually wish Disney did own them. Then the team would be full of diverse lesbians. It
Well,
would be funny.
I mean, the way they play, they kind of already
They kind
are.
of are.
I mean, it's
They're
funny
horrible.
because Disney owned the Mighty Ducks, the Anaheim Ducks, and the Los Angeles Anaheim Angels. That's been when they were the Los Angeles Angels. Then they moved and started playing in Anaheim, and Disney rebranded them the Anaheim Angels of Los Angeles, which is retarded.
Real
And
mouthful.
but what was consistent while Disney owned these teams is they sucked. They did not win.
You guys will Chad and 70s will like this one. So my daughter was going through the Avalanche schedule today, and she was like, all right, these are the games we cannot sell the tickets for. We have to go to the game. And the first one is October 18th, and I look it up, and it's like, it's the freaking Ducks. Why is that a must see? She's like,
Who's on the team that she likes?
Seagrass.
Okay.
She's like, well, you know, everybody that the New York Rangers traded this offseason, we've got to go see in person on their new teams. It's like, that is a horrible reason to go suffer through a Ducks game.
Yeah.
I don't think that's how it works.
Unless she's trying to pick easy victories.
She's still trying to claim that she's an Avalanche fan. I was like, no, you're not. You're a New York Rangers fan. You don't get to have multiple teams and then just whittle it down to who did best. You sit there and you watch every New York Rangers game and cheer for them. If they were playing against the Avalanche, you would be cheering for the Rangers. That makes you a Rangers fan.
Yeah. She lifts the Avalanche jersey at the game and there's a Rangers.
Yeah, she would immediately be like, oh, the Avs lost. I was wearing a Rangers jersey the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
I think Bride of Slender is asking, did Disney make Angels in the Outfield? Yes, they did. Disney used to make wholesome family movies that were good.
Yes, they did.
And Angels in the Outfield is actually one of my favorites. I think it's just...
Is that the one where the kid like fell and broke his shoulder and then could suddenly throw 90 miles an hour?
That is Rookie of the Year.
Oh,
Okay.
wait, yeah.
Angels of the Outfield is the one with Joseph Gordon-Levitt when he's like 11, where he's a foster kid, and he
was that Joseph Gordon-Levitt? Wow.
So yeah, right before he went into the Third Rock from the Sun, really annoying version of himself.
Matthew McConaughey. I remember that now.
Yeah, he was. That movie also has several. Matthew McConaughey's in it. But it also has
Lloyd, Adrian
who's
Brody.
who's the actor who won't do kissing scenes because
Neil McDonough.
Neil McDonough's in there. He was like
a
goofy hayseed guy, and Tony Danza was the what was funny is at the end when the
Tony
angel is talking and he's like, "What are you doing here? I thought you couldn't help in championship games." He was like, "Oh, I'm just checking on Tony Danza's character. He's gonna be coming up to see us soon." And he's like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, he smoked a lot. You shouldn't smoke." Which was, at the time, Disney was actually smart enough to not tell you he did a lot of drugs that messed him up. It was just he smoked. You don't smoke cigarettes.
I know I saw it. I just
Quite
all the little kid baseball movies at that time just kind of all blend together.
You're also making, because Little Big League also came out
Little
around the
Big
same
League,
time.
and then Sandlot was a completely different thing, but yeah, you also had baseball movie with kids.
Yeah, I mean, they're good. If you've got a younger child, I wholeheartedly endorse Angels in the Outfield. My son watched it and loved it. He also loves Sandlot. Sandlot is just a whole other level. Sandlot is
You're killing me,
an
Smalls.
all-time classic.
Sandlot is one of the best. Definitely.
If Sandlot was a Stephen King story, there would have been a girl and some bad things would have happened.
Well,
yeah,
didn't they? Peppercorn got a tongue stuck in her mouth.
No, he kissed her long and hard. And then they got married and had 12 children.
Yeah, because that's how that happens.
That was one of
today. He's in prison for probably till he's 80 because he sexually assaulted somebody who is older than him.
Well, in the 1950s, it worked the other way apparently.
Right.
He was basically you either end up owning the drugstore or you become the president of France. Yeah, look that one up, Marcon.
In today's teenage terms, he had Riz.
Yeah, that was my he walked a little taller that day, and we all respected him a little more that day.
She got the ick, but then she came around to his Riz.
No cap.
Oh boy, stop, please.
Ed, and Eddie.
Yeah, it's Ed and Eddie.
Which
one of the two that I really liked from that era of Cartoon Network. That one and
I hated
Courage.
Ed and Eddie.
I recognized the song, but I couldn't have named the show because I don't think I've ever watched it.
We got Little Giants. That was also a classic one.
You
That
definitely
one was
would not
football, right?
like Ed and Eddie
Yeah.
because Ed and Eddie was like a fraction of a step away from Cal Arts. It was the worst. It was the bottom of the barrel art style.
Yeah, it
before
was.
Cal Arts.
I mean, and I'll admit we had some bad art styles. Yeah, that's horrible. But like, Ben and Stimpy was never supposed to be like good art. It wasn't actual people.
Do you remember? Was it Duckman also had terrible art?
Duckman was horrible,
but it was funny as shit. It was
fun.
So you didn't think Duckman was funny?
I don't think I watched enough of it to have an opinion.
It's pretty funny, but what I saw of it.
You know what was
During
much
that
better
time, I think I was watching The Critic.
The Critic was fun.
Bad Take Bojan was the mean mom who wouldn't let her boys watch Ed, and Eddie. Oh, that was bad.
Nah, that's okay.
Yeah, the
It was
Duckman
terrible
art style
cartoon.
was terrible. But what was cool about Duckman was that right before Duckman was Weird Science with Vanessa Angel, and she was hot. So that was worth it was on USA. They had a block where they were trying to do original programming.
Didn't they also have Beekman's World right around that time, which
Beekman's
I also
World
could
was-
never get into?
Beekman's World was superior to Bill Nye the Science Guy. I think it was on TBS. It was syndicated. I think it was.
I didn't care for either of them. I was like, why would I watch people doing science when I can do science myself?
Bride of Slender says she did not allow her children to also watch Ed, Ed and Eddie, but apparently Slender Dad watched it, so that's good.
I didn't. Not much. Like I said, I didn't like it. What the hell?
Why does that sound?
I'm going to take a guess and say Sailor Moon.
Ooh,
that was not Sailor Moon. I can tell you that right now.
It could be.
No, I know that theme song like the back of my hand.
Rugrats. Sailor Moon's got the boom anime names that make
I watched
Slender
a lot of
think the
Sailor
wrong
Moon.
thing. He was like, "It was for my art. It was for my art."
That's
Pinky
gonna be
in
my
the brain.
excuse, Yeah.
Well, that one's actually easy because it just goes Pinky in the brain. Oh,
I can't think of any from the 90s.
oh, this could be it too. We have someone
Could be
saying
Carmen
Carmen
Sandiego.
Sandiego.
It's got that operatic style.
I think that might be right. Yep. Do you remember the PBS show for that?
The game show?
Yeah, the game show on PBS for Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego?
Yeah, I remember that.
It was like the only show I watched on PBS. It was
like the only show that you actually had to know geography for.
Yeah,
it probably taught me more geography than school did.
We have one of those smart globe things where you can play the games where you have to find the capitals and point them out. It looks like a light pointer on the map or whatever on the globe. And my son knows more geography as a result of just playing that game than I think he would have learned in actual public schools through high school.
Yeah,
because he's like, "Oh, Dubai, it's here." It's like, "Oh, you know where things are. Isn't that wonderful?"
What was you guys' favorite Carmen Sandiego game, or did you play any of them?
I played one on the Commodore 64 when I was young. I think it was.
I don't remember any of them well enough.
World or
I know
USA.
I played them.
I liked Where in Time.
Oh yeah,
Where in Time was fun.
Oh, okay.
I know. I remember I played it. It was Prodigy Internet. If anybody remembers that.
Yeah.
Had they had the games online you could play because a lot of them were text based, so they could actually do that. And Carmen Sandiego was one of them. I have no idea which one.
Where in Time was actually, we had the 5-inch floppies to play it, but I don't know. They were horrible games, but they did try to be actual fun educational games. Like there was actually a point to playing them. It wasn't just like Math Quest where it was like, what's 3 + 3 and your character climbs a step.
Well, yeah, so they were published at least by the same company that released Oregon Trail, Rotorbund.
Oh man, AOL sending out those discs meant I never had to buy a floppy disk again because I would just flip the disc over.
Format them.
You would flip the tab so it would be rewritable and then just format it, and then just stick a new label on top of the AOL logo, and bam, you've got a new disc.
AOL was
Bride
so
is yelling
annoying,
at you
though.
guys. I don't know why.
Who is?
You were
Bride?
Bride. I just looked in the other room and she's looking at her phone yelling. So I assume she's watching us because if she's not, she's going to be in a lot of trouble.
Well, she's been in the chat just as early as a minute ago, so I don't know what she's yelling
at you
about.
guys.
She's yelling, "Get on with it."
Oh, okay.
She's nodding up and down.
We do have 13 minutes or 14 minutes left. Darkwing Duck.
Yeah, I was about to say.
The Darkwing
This
Duck.
is one of the few I recognize.
Yeah, it's like that's one Brahma should get.
I told you I would get 2 or 3. Darkwing Duck, Tailspin. Tailspin.
Darkwing Duck. Man,
the
Disney
only one
afternoon theme songs went hard.
It's the only one I've recognized so far.
They went hard. Okay, yeah, I mean.
That was a great show.
You're telling
Chip and
me
Dale's Rescue Rangers was a great show. Tailspin was a great show.
Every one of them had a theme song that you can still sing today.
Tailspin.
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 The thing about it, Slender, is there one,
Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers.
and everyone remembers DuckTales. Everyone remembers them. I mean,
Life
Darkwing
is
Duck
like
was
a
great.
Hurricane.
I mean, hell, even I bet if you watched Gummy Bears, you remember its theme song because
Gummy
here.
bears bouncing here and there and everywhere.
You're
Beyond compare.
It's
They are
actually the
gummy
Adventures
bears.
of the Gummy Bears. Get the title right.
Look at it's 70s coming out here. Yeah, he knew.
The sad thing is, even crap shows had good themes, like Maya the Bee, and what was the stupid
Maya the
gnome
Bee.
one?
Oh, David the gnome.
I know the gnome. Yeah, that one.
David
was not
the
a good-
gnome.
Yeah, it wasn't a good show.
But we would probably recognize the stupid theme song from it.
Possibly.
I mean, that one was on Nickelodeon. I remember in the U.S. I think it was a Canadian show.
Yeah, well, Nickelodeon was originally a Canadian channel.
Yeah,
There was a lot of Canadian animation in the 90s, I think.
Goosebumps? That's not animated though.
No. Yeah.
Veggie
Oh, I
Tales.
know that. I know.
No.
Beetlejuice?
Oh,
Yes.
Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
Could be.
That is
yeah, Davina
Beetlejuice.
is saying same songwriter. Whoever
There
it
was
was.
There was a Beetlejuice cartoon.
Yes, there was.
there was.
Seriously?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
we have
Yes.
a conflict because we're seeing Dexter's Lab coming in from Soul Assassin.
Oh,
FKHC.
Never
I think
watched
Beetle-
Dexter's Lab, and I didn't know Beetlejuice existed. It just sounded like Beetlejuice.
Yeah, there was a Beetlejuice cartoon.
Oh, Dexter's Lab.
Dexter's Lab.
Well, it seems like Beetlejuice wouldn't have been in a 90s cartoon either way.
It was,
well,
though. It was.
It-
Like 90,
Beetlejuice-
91.
It would have been a 90s. Like the movie came out in 88, but I think the cartoon was like 90 or 91.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it was 90s, yeah.
Dexter's Lab was hilarious, man. I loved it. Dee Dee, get out of my lab. It definitely has a Danny Elfman sound to it. I think the Tim Burton Elfman sound, which I'm starting to watch the Flash 1990 show with my son. He's old enough now, and man, that show also was really good for its time. Great soundtrack, solid show. Too bad there's only one season. They brought Elfman into this, so it sounds just like a rip off. It's just a riff on the Batman soundtrack that he did. So
See, this is perfect because I never claimed any nerd credit in this whole area of the internet. But you can tell I didn't watch any of these cartoons in the 90s. I was already
There wasn't
on
a lot that I watched. There was.
I was already way off of cartoons by the 90s.
I was definitely knee deep in my anime phase, but
yeah, Imp was actually going to the video store and renting the things where the shop people didn't know that he shouldn't have been watching it.
well,
And that was always the goal. Was like maybe
Imp's
they
like,
don't know and they won't ask to see my ID.
It's like, why is it you've checked out Legend of the Overfiend 18 times? I don't know.
Believe it
It's
or not,
fine.
I've seen that movie once and only once.
Listen to it once. Yeah, sure, whatever.
Oroku Ketsudoji is not my cup of tea. 'Cause I am
The
not a
Viper.
hentai
Oh yeah,
guy.
they did an entire show on NBC, basically as an ad for the Dodge Viper. It was ridiculous, and it did make me want to have a Dodge Viper at the time because I was like,
Viper
13.
was pretty awesome looking.
And then as you get older, you read about how it was like one of the worst handling cars, and it was just a death trap. But
When I was in 8th grade, I think we had a senior who had a Viper, and it was like,
Daddy
awesome.
was, yeah, I'm sure.
well, private Christian school. There was money involved in the people that I went to school with.
Yeah, prosperity gospel pays off for some people. There we go. That's Gargoyles. No. Wait. Yeah, it's Gargoyles. For some reason, Exo Squad stuck in my head for a second about Gargoyles. It was...
We are defenders of the night.
The only thing I know about that show is Jonathan Frakes voiced somebody in it.
Oh,
Yeah,
the
villain.
entire TNG cast was in it because Marina Sirtis was Demona.
I'm sure she was. Brent Spiner was in it.
Brent Spiner was the assistant.
Have you ever
not the
watched
assistant.
I think
Have you ever
LeVar
gone
Burton-
back and watched his appearances on Night Court?
Oh yeah, he's hilarious.
He was great on Night Court.
We got lulled in by the sweet of worm farming.
I think just about everybody from Star Trek was in that. You're right.
Yeah.
Just looked it up.
Yeah, Michael Dorn did voices for it too.
He was the main character, wasn't he?
Paul Meany was in it.
Yeah, Michael Dorn was one of the other gargoyle. Like,
Wow.
I forget which character he was in. Yeah, Worf was in it too. Night Court was underrated. It was really popular, and then it disappeared for a while. But it kind of popped up a little bit again now that they did the sequel show. But
Yeah.
if you can go back, the old ones still hold up. Like, because they're just situational comedy. So like you've got the promiscuous district attorney with John Larroquette, who's hilarious.
Yep.
There's some great episodes where he's I should actually ask Matt if he's watched it, since in the show he has an LP boss, if you remember, like his boss district attorney is a little person.
I don't remember that. But I've never like watched it from start to finish.
Seen bits of it.
My mom watched Night Court, and it was stuff that would go over my head, so she didn't care that I watched it too.
Yeah, because there was a great episode where the LP boss is asking Dan Fielding, who is the name of Larroquette's character, to watch to like show his niece around town, and she's like, but not mess with her because she's like the hottest girl. Like, she's from an all-girl school, so So Larroquette is constantly through the whole episode like just trying to do things to avoid shenanigans.
Right.
And it's like they would never make that show in 2024.
They have missed an actual chance with the new Night Court, because Melissa, whatever her last name is, from Big Bang Theory.
Yeah.
She has just a gigantic rack. And if you just put her under a court robe the whole time, like they will not display her in any way that shows off her rack. But you could have. I was thinking about it a few minutes ago. Remember when you could just put one hot chick in a show and the show could be absolute crap, but everybody would watch it back then? Like,
Davina comes in with Terry. Like, this isn't for that, but that's true. This is what comes to mind with Lois and Clark.
They're
Terry
spectacular
Hatcher.
and they're real.
Yeah, they're real and they're spectacular. Yep.
But that wasn't a horrible show. What I'm thinking is like Northern Exposure. You remember Maggie?
Brahma's the official boob guy, the new Mr. Skin.
The Exposure, Dabney Coleman.
Yeah, Northern Exposure. I
Dabney.
never could figure out a reason to like the show,
Northern
except the chick who played Maggie was hot.
Was Rob Morrow was the lead actor. And
right, but the chick who played Maggie, the one with what we would now call a lesbian haircut.
Barry Corbin, I'm thinking of Barry Corbin.
Pixie cut. She was in wasn't she the girl from Cliffhanger? Like, wasn't she the female lead?
She may have been, yeah.
I think she was the female lead, and she ended up leaving the show.
But as much as I tried to like Northern Exposure, I couldn't find a reason to.
I don't know why you wanted to watch it, but that's cool.
Because she was hot. I mean, you could put a hot chick in a show, and that would be enough for some people to watch the show.
Bride of Slender was
They don't even go with that simplistic view of it
that
today.
was pretty much the whole theme of Baywatch, really, if you think about it. Because it was shit show. Just what you see jiggling.
Yeah, but that was a collection of hot.
So Bride of Slender was watching that show the other day, probably to have fond memories of her youth in Canada. So
that's right. Good Canadian show.
Shifty says, yes, she was the one in Cliffhanger, and she didn't leave. It was Morrow who left. I honestly didn't pay enough attention to Northern Exposure to remember.
Barry Corbin, I remember.
But it was one of those shows that ran for like, what, 6, 8 seasons? Something like that? I mean, it was on
6 years, I think.
Constantly.
Yeah.
You know which one was another one like that? Was Picket Fences.
Yeah.
It was, and you know who was it? Lauren Holly was the hot girl in that one.
Yeah.
And she also had a good set of assets.
She's the chick from Ace Ventura, or no, not Ace Ventura.
Dumb and Dumber.
Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah.
Right.
So you're saying there's a chance.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she ended up married to Jim Carrey.
Did she really?
Yep.
I pity her.
So Culture liked Showgirls and Brahma liked Northern Exposure. He tried to like Northern Exposure.
I'm not as much of a degenerate as Culture Casino. I like boobs. Doesn't mean I search out the boobyish movies ever.
I feel like that's the new Johnny Quest show they did. Do you remember they did a 90s update on it?
It sounds really familiar, but I'm not
Fantastic
I'm not
Four.
placing it.
Now, because now that I said
chat saying Johnny Quest.
Yeah, because 70s, listen to this, because did you watch Johnny Quest, the
No.
original, at all? No. I was about to say, you were in the right kind of age demo where that might have happened.
Now, 70s was 25 years old when the original came out.
And then this is the 90s. I was already, I was post marriage and 2 children. Like, I was divorced by this time, and I'd done my military service already.
Yeah, but the original one came out in like 1960.
Yeah, he would have been 30.
In 1960, I wasn't even born. So, so I'm caught between the two time frames. I don't think they ever showed it in the UK. Johnny Quest. Don't remember it.
It did have a CG intro. Yeah, in the UK, they were still doing the puppet shows then, right?
Oh,
Captain Scarlet
and puppet animation. Yeah,
yeah. Was it Captain Scarlet and
Thunderbirds.
The Thunderbirds?
Thunderbirds.
Super
Fireball XL1.
Yeah, Super Marionation.
Yeah, we had all that stuff. Yeah, it was great.
Brian would have been 69.
69.
69, dude.
I'm always 69.
Man, if you haven't
Or
watched
69.
If you haven't watched Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure in a while, you go back and watch again. It's just funny. It'll make you laugh. It's just good stuff. The jokes hit. They still land good.
I still love Bogus Journey more, but
Station.
Station.
That's Johnny Bravo.
That's Johnny Bravo.
Yep. Sure, check. I watched Hammy Hamster Tales
from the Riverbank.
Johnny Bravo was clever. He was basically Pepe Le Pew, but in a modernized dude bro style where he was just constantly
Johnny
chasing
Bravo was one of my favorite of that time. I wanted it to get more time.
Yeah,
I thought
this
it was
is
hysterical.
This is true. Early on in Rock's movie career, he was attached to a feature film live action adaptation of Johnny Bravo.
Dude, but then he got older and he got married and he had a little kid named Chad and he married a beautiful wife. So
Yeah.
Johnny Bravo got his shit together.
So they're gonna have a Samoan guy play a white guy with a, flat top blonde haircut.
Johnny Bravo was more a state of mind. So
Okay.
they wanted a guy who had the
like Brat.
They were gonna race swap him back in the 90s.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. When you heard The Rock being Johnny Bravo, when you looked at the comparable actors available, he had the most swagger to play Johnny Bravo compared to.
Probably.
You couldn't make Johnny Bravo today, no, because he was constantly chasing women and not wanting to take no for an answer. They would say that Johnny Bravo in 2024 is PC Principal on South Park. is the modern version of it, and it's hilarious. If you I recommend the initial first appearance of PC Principal because it's classic where they're having girls like, well, do you consent to me to crush that? Like, no, you need to I need you to sign this consent form. And PC Principal the next morning is collecting all the consent forms to file them away.
And PC Principal lives with a whole bunch of frat bros.
Yeah, and they're all like, man, stop assuming their stuff. You've got to listen to their lived experiences, dude.
They got it so right.
Yeah. SWAT Cats. That's SWAT Cats.
It's pretty metal.
It is. SWAT Cats was actually
SWAT
pretty
Cats
awesome.
was pretty metal.
Like, look at that. Soul Assassin knows, like, the Radical Squadron. Two cat dudes who just co-owned a junkyard apparently built like a high-end jet that just has everything and defends
They
the
built
city.
an FA-18 Super Hornet and painted it blue.
Yeah.
But the best part of that whole the thing I will always remember is the bad guy dropped a bomb and the one guy, he's on it and he's like, okay, This is simple. You've done this before. Just cut the red wire. And he takes the panel off, and all the wires are red.
Red. Yeah.
Screw
That's
you, Soul
fantastic.
Assassin.
Nice, Soul Assassin. Finally.
Oh, this must be killing
Yeah.
drama.
You beat me at watching cartoons.
Well, he would have been age appropriate for the time, likely.
Look at Brahma's taking it so personal. Like, shh, yeah,
I
like
don't
I was
care.
watching cartoons. I was
I'm
talking.
cool. I don't
I
watch
was-
cartoons.
I was at the Christian school talking to the guy with the Viper. I was like, "Take me for a ride." It's like,
Can I sit on your lap? He said.
if you could buy me the lobster, I'll pretend I'm not Christian for an hour.
Can I sit on your lap
Uh,
while you drive?
Another cartoon from when I was in college. I think that was yeah, probably. When did that? Yeah,
93.
SpongeBob.
Captain Pugwash.
SpongeBob.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
everybody knows the song.
And the
Everybody
weird
knows
thing
that one.
is, I know that one from my kids,
Because
not
that
from the
shows-
90s.
Oh,
'Cause-
no, 1999. Come on.
Because it came
Well,
out
my-
in '99, and
But
it's
my
been on-
daughter, my first daughter was born in 2004.
'cause
and
that
that's
show's
where
been
I know
on
it from.
25 years. Nickelodeon doesn't cancel. Like, this is the funny thing. Like, Disney cancels shit that people like that are cartoons, and Nickelodeon will let them go on forever. Paw Patrol has been on like 15 years.
Yeah, even my
Nickelodeon's
grandkids
like,
watch
we don't
that.
give a shit if you don't like it. We're still, it's going to air for the next decade or two.
Nickelodeon owns the Ninja Turtles rights. That's why there's constantly Ninja Turtles cartoons it's never going away.
You know, I've never watched an episode of Ninja Turtles or the movies.
How is that possible? Ninja Turtles the cartoon was right in your actual age appropriate wheelhouse for cartoons. It would have been
Thundercats
1980.
and G.I. Joe were what I watched, cartoon wise.
You're the same age as me. G.I. Joe started in like 83.
That's what I had on Saturday mornings.
Yeah, but Ninja Turtles started in like 87, 88. You would have been like 6 or 7.
Still never saw an episode.
You never watched Ninja
You should
Turtles?
at least go and watch
Nope.
the first movie.
Dude, Brahma, you need Kamala Harris as president because there's not enough joy in your life.
No Silver. Did you watch Silverhawks?
No.
What the F?
You know, I'm getting to have a theory, Slender. I think
He-Man,
Shredder might have
She-Ra.
his headphones.
Did you watch Gem and the
Just suck
Holograms?
joy.
I
Yeah.
know of it. I think I may have watched an episode or two, but
Jason the Wheeled Warriors?
You know, that's
no.
funny. What's funny is that was around for me. I don't
Thundar
remember
the
that at all.
Barbarian.
That I remember.
Thunder,
Yeah.
the Barbarian.
Thundar. I also watched.
Lone
Let's see.
Star?
What did we get? Land of the Lost, live action, Lost in Space. I got a lot of syndication stuff.
Truly outer. The Bionic Six?
What was the cartoon with the rock dinosaur thing that could the
Denver the Last
Hanna-Barbera that
Dinosaur?
could no, the Hanna-Barbera cartoon where the
Oh,
rock
Herculoids.
Flintstones.
Herculoids. Yeah.
Oh, okay. What about
Yeah.
what about Mask?
Nope.
Visionaries?
Nope.
Inhumanoids?
Nope.
Centurions, Power Extreme, Man and Machine?
I remember the toys. I don't remember watching the show.
That was one of Hanna-Barbera's last gasps.
Chuck Norris Karate Commandos,
Nope.
which is basically a canon film Saturday morning cartoon.
Literally, it was like He-Man, She-Ra, G.I. Joe, and Thundercats.
It's Denver the Last Dinosaur, not Dink. I got to correct Soul Assassin. Yeah, Rambo. What about Transformers or GoBots?
Transformers a little bit. GoBots, no.
Robotech?
I just didn't watch a lot of cartoons.
It's weird.
I unfortunately, because Robotech was out when I was like in 6th grade, I didn't get a chance to watch it because it aired when I was already at school.
Real Ghostbusters, DuckTales, Tailspin, Chip and Dale.
This is
Those would
boring.
be-
70s so bad. I'm sorry.
That was like those were like the 8 cartoons that I actually watched.
This is yeah. I mean,
I just
guess
did not watch a lot of cartoons.
I mean, that's fair enough. That you had other things to do. That's cool.
He was a weird kid. That's what it was.
No, I was outside.
I
Bon
don't know that
Jovi?
one. It's possible.
You give love a bad name?
Conan the Barbarian. No.
Mega Man.
Oh,
Street Sharks.
Yeah, the era
See,
when everybody
Matt
wanted to have
would've
their
got
own
that.
turtles.
what threw me off was Vin Diesel wasn't selling the toys. Do you remember that commercial we watched?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah.
They were on TV, not cable. Oh, yeah. Jawsome, that's right, Soul Assassin. That was their tagline because they all had
And
to
at the
have a
time,
tagline.
everybody wanted their own TMNT.
You know, I probably played more video games based on these cartoons than I watched the cartoons, would be my guess.
That's entirely possible.
Even
too.
if I hadn't been a grown adult struggling to earn a living and feed myself, most of these weren't on in the UK. So
Yeah,
I
what
wouldn't
did
know
the BBC probably was like F animation. We're gonna give you
We
Count
got
Duckula
Well, I
and
just
Danger
think-
Mouse, and that's
Sherry and lamb chop.
them.
Danger Mouse.
Well, that was
Danger
earlier
Mouse
in
was
the
British.
90s.
I watched that when I was a
Canadian.
kid. What, Danger
I
Mouse?
remember seeing a
Yeah.
little bit of Danger,
Danger Mouse was English.
Wasn't Danger Mouse like part of you had
it was on
Fat
Nickelodeon.
Albert and Danger Mouse kind of
and
mushed
Count
together?
Duckula. I know
remember
Count.
seeing Danger Mouse on Nickelodeon.
I remember Count Duckula was English because it had the BBC logo come up before every episode, and it
A
always
lot
threw
of
me
this,
off.
my kids were watching stuff like Postman Pat and Thomas the Tank Engine. I guess that was the 90s.
Oh, Thomas the Tank Engine.
Postman
that's right.
Pat. I don't
Every
know.
time my kids watched Thomas the Tank Engine, all I could see was the
George Carlin as the conductor, and think that's weird.
no, Stephen King, the Dark Tower series, The Wastelands, where the train engine makes them solve riddles to save their lives.
Right.
That's
All I
a
can see
really
is
weird
Sky-
place to go mentally from Thomas the Tank
All I
Engine.
can see is Skyrim with Thomas the Tank Engine instead of dragons.
Yeah, with the
That was a
like,
good mod.
Yeah, Fireman Sam was another one that was on. I remember.
My
that.
kids did watch Teletubbies, Soul
Oh,
Assassin,
no, I feel
and
bad.
The Wiggles.
oh, that was when
But my sister watched Teletubbies because me and her are 14 years apart,
Mighty
so it
Max.
was like in her time. And
Mikey
oh my
Max.
god, that show was a fever dream.
So here's one for you that would probably
Captain
cause nightmare
Pugwash.
fuel. Go to visit some friends of mine. We end up staying up real late drinking one night. I wake up hungover to high hell the next day to their 2-year-old son watching The Wiggles.
Wiggles, oh god.
And you can't yell at a you can yell at a 2-year-old, but you should.
Quietly.
It's
You can yell
frowned
quietly.
upon.
Yeah, and you know, I liked the kid then. Nowadays he's a bit of a shit.
Count Duckula, that was British.
My
yeah, well, that's what we were talking about. It.
Yeah, Count
my
Duckula,
daughter
yeah.
loved The Wiggles. It was about the only thing that she would watch, the oldest. So I finally recorded an episode of The Wiggles that had one segment where they were on the pirate ship, and one of the background dancers just had great boobs. We're going right back to the boobs. So
Rama's got a theme tonight.
Boobs.
yeah,
Single-minded tonight, brother. Jeez.
yeah, but that was the episode. Every time she was like, "Let's play The Wiggles," it was like, okay. I would put on that episode and be like, at least there's something for me, because I cannot watch this stupid crap over and over and over. I like
It is.
boobs. Now, get over it.
Let's try the next one.
Batman,
Batman,
the animated series.
series. Yeah. I mean, at least there's one you finally watched, right?
Yeah, I did watch it,
Yeah, I've seen that.
but I think I watched it older.
I remember when that came out, I was in high school, and one of my buddies was like, dude, it only been like 2 or 3 episodes. He's like, you watched that new Batman cartoon yet? I was like, no, what the hell are you talking about? He's like, you really should go and watch it. It's really good for a cartoon. I was like, all right, whatever. Got home from school that day. I was like, oh, it's on. All right, fuck it, I'll watch it. Holy shit.
Hooked.
Show still holds
Yeah.
up.
It aired at 4:30 p.m. Eastern on Fox in the afternoons.
I don't think I watched it until later, because like Justice League and Justice League Unlimited and Batman the Animated Series, I was already married when I watched all those.
Yeah.
So
that
that'd
would have
be
been later.
21 plus.
So you probably didn't watch the Superman animated series that came out from the same creators in the mid '90s either.
That was pretty much between
No.
Batman and Justice League.
Yep.
Justice League I thought was great, and Justice
they
League
did it.
Unlimited I thought was fantastic.
Yeah, they
But
did a
that
good
was
job,
much
though.
later, I think, than when it was airing.
Yeah, Mask of the Phantasm, probably the best actual Batman movie ever released into theaters. So, I'm gonna say that. Not a controversial opinion though.
No, not really.
Cow and chicken.
Probably. That was another one of those ones that it was too dumb for me.
Mm-hmm.
This is why we have a generation of dumbasses.
It was better than Power Rangers. At that point.
I mean, in their defense, though, like
Sure, except Power Rangers had the Pink Ranger who had great boobs.
I think it was a dude in the
Power
actual
Rangers
suit, though.
wasn't
Yes,
animated, though.
But
It
in
wasn't
that
animated.
generation's defense, I believe it was you who was carrying water for Ren and Stimpy 5 minutes ago.
No, I said some animation was horrible when I was watching it.
Yeah, I think he was using that
Ren
as
and Stimpy was by design. It wasn't supposed to be humans and stuff. And Ren and Stimpy still look better than whatever the hell that was.
Yeah, but it's a terrible cartoon.
Agreed?
I hated Ren and Stimpy.
That was also the
I
very
did not
first.
like it.
That was also the very first, I believe, Cartoon Network original.
I would also
I
say
wasn't
Beavis and
big on
Butthead were
roast
drawn
No, Ren and Stimpy started on Nickelodeon.
Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
And
it
Ren
was
and,
It was a Nicker night.
Beavis and Butthead were horribly drawn too.
Yeah,
I mean-
they were funny as hell.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
were pretty funny.
Yeah,
But I'm
Pokemon-
looking. So is
Pokemon
Cow and
why we have a
Chicken?
generation of dumb.
Is Cow and Chicken as great at poking holes and things as Beavis and Butthead was?
No, but
Because-
most people don't remember a Cow and Chicken either. People
Yeah.
remember the theme song, evidently, but most people couldn't tell you anything about the show at all, myself included.
I mean,
I
even
just know I hated it.
Dario was slipping into that horrible animation, but they still had the cheerleader who was drawn well. I mean, the sister or whoever it was.
Quinn
I mean-
was the name of the sister.
Yeah,
Never.
but they
watched
just
Dario.
slipped
Dario's
into we don't want to make anything look like anything it's supposed to resemble at some
Well,
point.
at the time, that was stylistic. I mean, they were trying to be different than the Disney animation style, which was the dominant thing.
Just wasn't a fan.
I
My
mean, the-
kids watched Gumball, Amazing World of Gumball.
Yeah,
that
well,
was horrible.
that's moving into the Cal Arts style, and that's where things went off the rails. So
And what was the other one that they did?
probably
Adventure Time.
Adventure Time.
Adventure Time was horrible.
Did they
Gumball
watch
was horrible.
Gravity Falls.
They watched that. That was horrible. I mean, animation just got so ugly.
Some of those, there was a good story that could have been had there, but I couldn't get past how terribly drawn it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Gravity Falls, apparently there's a decent story buried in there somewhere, but
Oh, my kids are still obsessed with it.
it looks stupid. It looks so stupid.
Aren't they still doing that show? Aren't
No.
they? Is it a
No.
final
I thought it ended.
final series
It
coming
ended.
like next year?
Disney owns the rights, so they might have decided to do a Disney Plus like continuation. I know that HBO Max did an Adventure Time continuation on their to try to get the people from 20 years ago to come back and get subscriptions.
Yeah.
People like there are people like Adventure Time had committed fans. It was weird.
Yeah.
That's also another thing about modern animation.
Oh,
Tiny
Tiny Toons.
Animaniacs.
oh yeah.
I watched a bit of that. Pinky and the Brain was awesome.
I like the good feathers or good pigeons, whatever they
Yeah.
are called.
Yeah. But that also took having some knowledge of
This is Recess or whatever it is, right?
No, I think
Sounds
that's
like
Kids
it.
Next
Hey
Door.
Arnold.
Kids Next, yeah. Code name Kids Next Door.
Yeah, codename Kids Next Door.
Nope, it was Recess.
Recess.
Ah,
Damn it, I was
was
right the
tough.
first time. You talked me out of it.
You talked yourself out of it.
All I can do is point to the title, my title, Chad.
It was more abscess than research.
But since we skipped over, Animaniacs was one that was actually made for people who actually got the references of the older things that they
Looney
were
Tunes
referencing.
and stuff.
Well, yeah, but Looney Tunes was like that anyways from the get-go.
Right. Which was kind of what my age grew up on. I thought.
Yeah, I grew up on.
I did.
Sounds like Slender and Little Chad grew up on completely separate cartoons than I did at the same age.
I watched all of the
we
same
watched
ones you did
all
and
the
all the
same
rest.
stuff. It's just you stopped watching it because you thought you were too cool for cartoons when you were in middle school, apparently.
No, I just didn't live in Never Never Land.
Yeah.
No, Brahma was like, Brahma at like age 10 was like, boobs. I've redirected my attention.
I have found the only thing that matters and will focus on nothing else.
He's like, I started watching Star Trek The Next Generation and I noticed the Counselor Troy
Hey,
in
Deanna.
her cat suit.
How you doing?
I was like, man,
And yet he
those
never got
things
into anime.
those things must be gigantic because they're
Why'd you have to cut it in that weird V? You're special.
Stare at my savoir-faire.
no, it's oh, it might be the mask. Yeah, it's the mask.
Is it the mask?
Sounds like math.
I was thinking it was the mask or the
Could be wrong.
what's the Freakazoid? It's one of the it's Mask or Freakazoid. They both had similar.
That
Soul
didn't sound
Assassin's
the
going
Freakazoid,
Mask.
though. The
Yeah, so it's
Freakazoid had a
Mask,
very
Freakazoid.
specific opening song.
Yeah, Soul Assassin's probably right. Yeah, you guys are all the
I can't
mask.
believe I actually got that.
Well, it sounded like the scene from the movie.
Yeah, well, that's why I recognize it.
And the Freakazoid opening song was not self-aware, so it actually tells you how the Freakazoid became the Freakazoid.
Arnold. Hey, Arnold.
Yep.
Or no,
that's
Doug.
Doug.
Yeah, like that show isn't Canadian.
Doug was like one of my favorites back in the day.
Like Doug needed to get over Patty Mayonnaise now. She was
Skeeter.
Why? She liked him.
Skeeter was okay. He was a good guy.
Doug just needed to nut up and ask her out.
I like how I say he needed to get over Patty Mayonnaise, and Brahma immediately went to Skeeter was okay. He should have got with his bro.
I didn't say he should get with his bro. Skeeter should have ended up with Patty because Skeeter was actually not a bitch.
Soul Assassin, Doug was a simp.
Exactly.
I think Brahma might have spent too much time in close proximity to Mad. Beginning to wonder if that was a bee sting or a freaking, blow dart.
Good Take Bojan says she watched Wrestling with the Boys when they were toddlers. I was mortified. You watched what was effectively Attitude Era WWE with your toddler boys. Yeah, you would. There was more going on than you probably wanted to see toddler boys watching.
When she had toddlers, it wouldn't have been Attitude Area. It would have been Saturday Night Main Event.
No, she said that she was graduating mid-90s and got married, so she can confirm. I'm guessing that toddler boys
probably
would have been
the Attitude Era for WWE.
would have been around basically anywhere from 99 to 2003, so Attitude Era.
Okay.
Oh, tail end of.
Well, tail end, but still. I mean,
But
that was when Edge was having sex in the ring. Like
With
that was
Lita.
when they were. That was when they did the bra and panty matches routinely.
Actually, speaking of wrestling, we lost a legend today out of that industry.
Oh,
I heard that, but I still have
Kevin
no
Sullivan.
freaking clue who he was.
He was big in like the Florida territory.
He was
way
born in
back the day.
1946, I think they said.
Yeah, he was an older guy. He started wrestling like in the late
Who
60s.
was it?
Kevin Sullivan.
No.
He went by the names of the Taskmaster. But after a certain point, he did more stuff backstage, like the booking and the talent management and shit like that. But he had a good mind for wrestling.
Shifty says Saturday Night Main Event died in '92. So yeah, Betsy Bojan was a little earlier than she was having her toddler boys.
Yeah,
between
that was
2000
also a
and
bad
2009.
time for a wrestling period. It was just not good.
Yeah, long time WCW booker. And that was because his first wife.
He was
right?
his first wife. Yeah,
Yeah.
that Kevin
Yeah,
Sullivan was
the-
married to the woman Chris Benoit murdered.
Yeah,
originally.
So, yeah,
And the best part is they had a feud in WCW together while that was going on.
Well, I
So
mean,
people in the know were wondering, are they really literally beating the fuck out of each other in a bathroom, or are they just doing what they normally do?
I still think those were the most hilarious super chats that Ricada read when
Oh
he
God.
wasn't thinking about it right after he came back to streaming.
Yeah.
And it was like Chris Benoit's fan, like Chris
Chris
Benoit,
Benoit, Family Man.
Family Man says, "I really appreciate that you and someone committed to the same level of family values as I do." Like he was like such crazy, and he was just reading them, and it didn't register till and it was like
Somebody
oh,
got Chrissy
no.
Mayer like that too, though.
I'm sure Chrissy isn't as well versed
No.
on a lot of the pulp culture stuff
Neither
from
is
that
Ricada,
era.
though, in areas.
So yeah, well, so yeah, so it's easy to kind of get her. South Park.
Yeah. 1999.
98 or 99.
Yeah.
Might have been 97.
I think I was a junior when it came out.
97, yeah.
Okay,
Because,
so I was a sophomore when it came out.
Because Bigger, Longer, Uncut came out in 99.
Weirdly,
So-
that was one of the shows that me and my mom always watched together.
That's
I remember-
awkward at that
I remember
age.
The first season wasn't that rough though, as far
The
as
first
yeah,
episode had the probe, didn't it? The anal
Yeah,
probe.
the anal probe, yeah.
Yeah,
no,
that's
was
plain
the
funny.
first episode that or the like?
No, the first
the
episode
Potbelly
was Alien
Pig.
Abduction.
Yeah, okay, it was.
First episode was Alien Abduction.
Yeah. It was.
Yeah, it
I'm
was
gonna be honest.
Cartman gets an anal probe.
My mom would watch it with me as well because
Dude,
she
we
thought
thought it was
Cartman was hilarious.
hysterical.
She thought Cartman was hilarious, like with the cheesy poofs and respect my authority.
You see, this is a cartoon that adults watched. Not it wasn't really.
Yeah, I mean,
I watched it.
remember-
I watched South Park.
Before South Park, we would watch Space Ghost Coast to Coast.
Hmm.
So,
I remember the first time how I saw South Park. I'd been seeing the commercials on TV, and I was at work when it aired, so I didn't get a chance to see it. I remember asking a buddy, "It's like, hey, you see that new show South Park yet?" He's like, "Yeah, I got the whole everything they've aired so far on. I taped it, hung out at his house, got high as hell, and laughed my ass off."
And
Do you
Family Guy
remember,
came out what 2 years later, maybe 3.
Family Guy was like 99. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it
just
came
thought it was
out
a bit
pretty
later than that.
pretty soon
Like
after
2001,
South Park.
2002.
Family Guy came out and got canceled like 3 times
Mm-hmm.
within that.
No,
It
I know
came out
that.
on Fox, got canceled, and then got brought back.
But do you guys remember if you were on the early days of the internets, where this is one of the first where people were passing around that South Park,
Yeah,
the video, the Christmas one,
like test footage, kind of
Yeah,
like
the test
Deadpool
footage
did.
clip. Yeah.
Yep.
I was one of the things where someone was like, "Go to this website; it's hilarious," and you had to. I had to friggin' download QuickTime because at the time all the videos that were online
Yes.
were QuickTime
Yeah.
videos. I had to get you can't play that .mov extension without your QuickTime
Yeah.
player.
Damn
Kind of
you,
like now
Apple.
you need Codex 13 or whatever the hell.
Hmm.
Those stuff you young kids will never have to deal with.
Yeah, right.
Like where-
Extensions.
waiting,
Codec
like
packs.
waiting, 3 hours to download a movie trailer and watch
Yeah.
it in QuickTime MOV.
Or downloading a song for 25 minutes to find out that it wasn't the song that it said it was, and then you've got to go find 20 other files to find the song that you were looking for on Napster.
Well, that was later.
Or
with
LimeWire.
Napster. Yeah. I was talking about like in 1995 when movie websites were basically just where they would put the trailer file for you to download.
Yeah.
I remember downloading Braveheart and it would took forever. And then I was like, it's a new Mel Gibson movie, Mom. It's going to be playing at the theater soon. I thought I'd look at the trailer. I looked at it. I was like, this movie looks amazing. I was like, can we go see it? And she's like, no, because that was back when the movies, we had 2 theaters in the town, so they split bookings.
Yeah.
And so it was the theater further away, and she's like, I'm not driving out there for this movie. I was like, but it's going to be so good. And she's like, this is whatever. It's Scottish. Mel
You
Gibson's
missed a
not
great
Scottish.
Cinematic experience.
I know, it pissed me off.
It was
'cause then
fantastic.
once I finally saw it, and it was like, this movie is fucking amazing. And I could have saw it. I've never seen it in a theater because of that.
I
Like,
think I saw it 4 times in the theater.
Yeah, I saw it 3 or 4 times when it came out. Yeah.
The last one I fell asleep, and that was on a date, so that didn't go well. Because it was the
That
4th time I
happens
had
to
seen
me
it.
every time I try to watch Master and Commander.
Oh,
I have
love that
never
movie.
watched that movie.
I've never
all the
made
way
it through
the
that
end.
movie.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
You know what movie kills me and I can't make? It took me like 8 tries to get through all the way. Hunt for Red October.
I like Hunt
Really?
for Red October, but
That's a
Master
great
and
movie.
Commander, and the other one that always gets me is Time Machine.
The one with
Which one?
Guy
The
Pearce.
old
version.
The
Guy-
yeah, the
Guy
newer
Pearce?
one.
The guy
Yeah.
Pierce. Yeah.
It's so boring.
Yeah,
Master and Commander's
Master
brilliant.
Commander was good. I was riveted
read
the
all-
entire time. I loved
I've
it.
read all the novels that it was based on. That's
It's
great
just
great
too
series
long.
of novels.
it's too
I've
fucking
never
long.
gotten through it, ever.
I've had
This-
deployments that weren't that boring.
Well, I would put my hands together so you could see the hold fast written on them.
You just
Can we
don't
ban
like-
FKHC?
You just
I
don't,
don't like The
movies and-
Godfather. There, I said it. That's
You
I'm not
guys
gonna
just
ban
don't
him.
like.
I'm pretty
movies
sure
that
I've got mod
feel-
powers. Time out for 86,000 seconds.
I don't understand. Like, that's I could understand if you put the 3 eyes after that Godfather for Godfather 3.
Yeah.
but Godfather 1 and Godfather 2 should be universally respected and loved. They're just great.
As should Master and Commander.
I've
Bad
never seen The
take?
Godfather. Well, that is a bad take. I mean,
Yeah, that tracks.
Maybe that's why you like Marvel now.
you don't know what could be.
You've never seen good.
Bad take Bojan is unburdened by what has been.
I mean, I've heard people
Yeah.
say, I had a conversation one time in my old guild on WoW. My old guild leader made some comment about Mel Brooks movies, and like all the women in the guild were like, "Oh God, no, those movies suck." And every guy all turned around and went, "You're all out of your fucking minds. They're hysterical."
There's a
You
few.
can't badmouth Mel Brooks movies. They're
Mel
good.
Brooks, all right. Mel Brooks had a run through about Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Men in Tights was the last
But,
good one.
Dracula Dead and Loving It maybe
Mm-hmm.
has 1 or 2 parts that are funny, and then it's kind of a slog.
Even by Robin Hood, Men in Tights, he was starting to lose it a little bit.
Yeah.
Some of
Yeah,
that's
but
pretty
here's the
corny.
thing.
It was so good.
Even Robin Hood Men in Tights and then Dracula Dead and Loving It, like even those movies, if they'd have come out today, they'd have been
Not a
even more
chance in hell.
successful because they're so memeable.
Yeah. Was it
They weren't. there
Oh,
was no
Master
memeing back
Robin,
then.
you've lost your arms, but you got
grew
a nice set of
boobs.
boobs.
I'm
I
on the
love-
East Bank. I'm on the West Bank. This isn't exactly.
Was it where Blinken was? It was a Braille Playboy.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's sitting on the toilet in a completely fallen down castle with no walls, feeling up Braille Playboy.
Ye repossessed castle.
Come on,
Oh,
I mean,
Robin,
Mel
it's
Brooks is one of the all-time greats, and always, yeah, he's a legend.
was
Look
it?
at
Oh,
the
Robin, it's just the right size. It fits. It is the key to the greatest treasure in all the lands.
The chastity belt.
Anyone that can make a movie with a song called "Springtime for Hitler" in it is an absolute legend.
Hot Shots and Hot Shots Part 2. I unapologetically laughed my ass off when I watched
Don't go
them the
out there,
first
it's
time.
dangerous. No, I mean it. It's dangerous.
It's like
it gets
I-
electrocuted.
at the like when they're doing the Top Gun ending and he gets and they're like he goes over to Carrie Elways and he's like, "There's something I need to ask you, man. What is the difference between a crock pot and a chafing dish?" And he's like, "I'm glad you asked." And they start walking off to have the conversation.
But I could see not seeing Hot Shots or Hot Shots Part 2 because that's the equivalent to watching all the freaking Scary Movie type crap today. They were better than what Scary Movie and all of those things are.
way
Not
better.
Another Teen Movie and all that stuff is
what
today.
What was her name? The Italian chick that was in it.
Oh god, she's hot.
Her boobs. have
She was
been-
so hot, but she just disappeared.
Um,
Hang on.
I just
Should
remember in
remember
Hot
this.
Shots Part 2 when they were doing was it the blood sport? No, it was the Rocky 3. Not Rocky.
Valeria Galino.
Yeah.
Valeria
okay.
Galino.
Yeah, they were doing the
Well, you gotta
Rambo
bring him
3
a pic.
opening.
Valeria Galino again.
Dude, we're gonna have to rename this one the boobs episode, aren't we?
Yeah,
I
it
guess.
is.
Like, I didn't know what we were doing when we came in today, but
I
apparently
don't remember her boobs being that great.
Biker Mice from Mars.
That was Weird
I
Al.
think that is.
Did Weird Al Yankovic?
I'm just
did
saying that it
theme?
might
That
not
didn't
be.
sound like Weird Al.
I was close.
Never
I
heard of
think
it.
I've heard of Rocket Power, but I don't think I ever saw it.
Soul Assassin got it.
had But didn't that sound like Weird Al?
A little bit.
It wasn't high
I mean,
enough.
that's a stretch.
Davina over here, Riders on the Storm. Yeah. Um,
Hey, Arnold.
I would
I
think
believe-
that's Amy Arnold. Sounds
I've guessed it 3 times, so I'm sticking with it this time.
Arthur.
Arthur.
With Steven Crowder.
Did you know that Arthur did like a 9/11 episode? It was really crazy.
Weird.
All right, what
Well,
do we
you know
got?
why Arthur
Valeria
did a 9/11
Galino.
episode? There was a large population of a certain demographic in Canada that were celebrating in the streets afterwards.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
They're having
See-
a good time in England right now too.
Yeah, I didn't remember her boobs being that great. I remembered her eyes being mesmerizing.
It's the voice as well. She has a very.
Was
sexy
it?
voice.
Was it the first Hot Shots where they're making fun of the
Where he's
where they're-
popping the
Mantis with
olives into her mouth from her belly button?
He cracks the egg and he's frying
right.
it on her stomach.
Yeah.
What's her name? Is Sizzling something or other. Isn't it? Sizzling.
I just, man, I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch them because both of those were so hilarious. Like, was it
Yeah, Big
what-
Top Pee Wee she was in.
Oh, that's right. She
She was hotter in that. Yeah.
And
But she's one of those actresses like the chick from Ferris Bueller's Day Off that just was hot
Show
and
up.
disappeared.
the girl. Oh, the girl from Dirty Dancing that was in Ferris Bueller, or the girlfriend?
No, the
Sloane?
girlfriend, not the one with the nose.
I was just looking at that today as well. Mia Sara. No,
Oh, yeah.
She
Mia Sara.
Mia Sarah was in a fantasy legend. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. She was also So she was the girlfriend in Ferris Bueller too.
But there was
Sloane. Yeah, Sloane.
but she was not in much after that. It was
She
like
was in,
a couple movies, It
she had
Girl
a-
for a minute and then gone.
Do you remember that short-lived Birds of Prey live action show on the CW in the early 2000s?
No.
She was they brought her in to play the Harley Quinn on that one.
Really?
And it
You know,
like
Mia Sara married Jason Connery, Sean Connery's son.
there you go.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah,
She was in Legend. She was in Legend.
he got some nice kitty cat.
Yes. Well done, Sean.
Such a good
I taught you well. You weren't watching cartoons when you were a kid.
Yeah, he was.
Trogdor?
I have no
That-
idea.
Robin of Sherwood, apparently she was also in Bad Take Bojan, knew the name instantly. It was in her wheelhouse of,
Yeah,
Chicago.
Bad Take
Ferris
Bojan
Bueller.
was like, this is a girl that if I was into it, I would do.
I thought she married Noel Connery. I don't know what Connery's kids are
Jason
named.
Connery's Sean's son, but I don't know if there's a Noel or not.
Maybe it's
Are we
Noel Jason.
Are we starting to think of the Gallaghers with
Noel and
She
Liam?
definitely,
Noel and Liam.
Mia Sara definitely married Jason Connery. Definitely.
He has to Google at his hands.
I'm just interested. I have no idea what this one is.
No,
Extreme
never heard
Dynasty.
of it.
Yeah.
The
Never
90s
heard
was
of it.
where you added extreme to everything to make it seem like extreme Ghostbusters.
Because
Extreme
Nintendo had
Dynasty.
already added super to things.
Tim, look it up. Mia
They're
Sara
all
married
saying
Jason
Neil.
It's the same person saying Neil. Or Noel.
Okay.
Noel, Neil.
Okay.
No, wait,
Mia
we've got
Sara. Mia Sara.
That's Sean's.
She
that
married
is-
Jason Connery in 1996. Sean, yes, Neil is Sean's brother, but she didn't marry Sean's brother. She married Sean's son.
Well,
Yeah,
she would have
she's-
been marrying somebody like 60 years older than her
Yeah.
at that point, if it was
That's
Neil.
not that uncommon in Hollywood.
Davina, Mountain Dew invented Extreme. Oh yeah, like Extreme. The X Games Extreme.
What's
Although,
up?
I will say when they rolled out, like they were the first one that rolled. When they did Code Red, I was like, this shit is great. This is awesome. Code Red was pretty solid as sodas go. Although it was no Jolt Cola.
Jolt
which
was fantastic. I drank
they
that
had-
before every middle school basketball game.
They had to ban it because it's what was it like 5 times the caffeine content of a regular soda in one.
Yeah, and now we've got Red Bull and everything else that's like 25 times that. So
Yeah.
what was so wrong with Jolt?
Yeah.
Jolt Cola was the original energy drink. You were like flying when you did you ever have Jolt, Slender?
Nah, I was a Surge guy.
Surge.
Jolt
Oh,
tasted
Surge.
like shit.
Yeah, it
Surge was
did.
pretty. I liked Surge too, man. They brought Surge back for a while.
Surge
And
was like Mountain Dew on extra caffeine.
Surge was like a Mountain Dew mellow yellow combination for flavor, but it had a ass ton of caffeine in it.
Yeah.
It was good stuff.
There was another one that was good, a little harder to find, was Balls.
Never heard of it.
BAWLS.
You can't lick balls. That's a great drink.
There was one I remember when I would visit my family in Boston that was available at least regionally. Maybe it was more. It was called OK Cola. And I
it
got
was okay.
one. And that was the thing. You'd get one and you, without thinking, someone would ask you like, how was it? And be like, oh, it was okay.
It was okay.
And there, I was like, oh shit, it's not just a clever name. It's just,
It's perfect branding.
We had
Slender
Iron
likes it.
Brew. Iron Brew was a Scottish drink. Iron Brew.
Orbits, remember that drink. I remember the gum.
Orbits,
No,
was
Orbits
like
had like little.
precursor
It was
to
almost
freaking
like what is that
boba.
boba tea that is around now? Remember when Snapple actually had good flavors?
The soda with the little balls was called
a glass
Orbits.
bottle.
No, the ones that came in the metal bottles that were like, oh, I can't even remember the flavors, but they
remember
were
Fire.
aluminum metal bottles that had flavors based on like elements.
Yeah, like fire.
Yeah, fire.
Oh shit, I remember those ones.
Yeah, those ones were good.
Was
Regular
that,
Snapple, I didn't care for, but the
And-
metal bottle stuff, I loved those.
There was also another one that ripped it off that had like a lizard logo.
Elements.
Like
Brightest Slender got it.
Soba.
Yeah, I remember Sobe.
So bad.
Yeah, and that was glass bottles with like different lizard like types.
Bride's on the same wavelength as me. Rain
See, we
was
never
the
had any of
best
these.
Snapple element.
Never had
Nah, I
any
liked
of
fire.
these.
It was so good.
Fanta. We had Fanta.
I bet you did.
That's Aladdin.
Aladdin.
But that's yeah.
But that's from
because-
the movie. It's
Not a
Well,
cartoon.
Yeah, no, they did a cartoon.
I guess
of
they
it.
did do a cartoon afterwards.
Yeah.
But that's the movie that they're showing, isn't it?
I would think.
Sounds
That one-
detective-y.
That one
Secret
sounds
Squirrel.
Codename Kid Next Door, maybe. Yeah, they brought because Robin Williams wasn't going to do the voice for the genie. It was the same guy who does Homer. So yeah, it looks like I might be Codename Kid Next Door.
Crystal Pepsi is what it was called. Bad take.
Yeah, Crystal.
Crystal Pepsi wasn't very good.
I liked it.
I feel like that
Battletoads?
one might be Biker Mice from Mars.
I'm just kind of thinking of saying that again, but
Yeah, I think you might be right.
it's got a
I'm
feel,
going Battletoads.
It's definitely something that's supposed to
something
be
like
more
that. Yeah,
edgy for boys.
yeah, it was that one. Pretty sure my kids watched that one.
Why wouldn't they? It's a great show. Wait, That is not an accurate guess for a Saturday morning.
Kill everything.
Japanese porn?
Oh no.
Sounds like
Another
Michael
Nickelodeon
It
one.
was Michael Dorn who did the
Does
voice
sound
for
like
I Am
Michael
Weasel.
Dorn, yeah.
He was, yeah. Oh, it's in
I protest, I am Weasel. I am no weasel.
Pina Colada Mystics were awesome. Okay. Don't know about that one.
We're going on the Snapple.
Tailspin.
Tailspin.
Yep.
Oh. Let's begin it. Oh, tailspin.
That's Jesus.
That's an actual
Flight of the
song,
Bumblebees,
not a
isn't it?
theme song.
Sonic.
If they had done that part, we all would have got it.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Sounded.
Rugrats.
Yep. It's like Grand Brahma knows this one. Rugrats.
There were so many dirty jokes buried in that show.
I guess at the time I probably didn't pick up on them.
Oh yeah.
The
again,
grandpa, when he goes to rent movies or magazines, it's all porn.
Oh,
Every time he's babysitting, what is his name? Stu Pickles, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he rents movies that are porn, and he is reading magazines that are porn, if I remember right.
I don't know if that makes the show really weird and awkward now, and weirds me out.
Okay.
There was a dead body in the mail episode. What? This,
That sounds like
So
a
Pearl
Wizard of Oz story.
to answer Davina's question, yes, Tailspin was directly inspired by Tales of the Golden Monkey from the early.
this was an entire
1980s.
season of Archer.
Yep. So,
And very few people remember Tales of the Gold Monkey. They
by the way,
shit out of that show.
people who have access to a certain server can watch that anytime they want. The whole first and only season of Tales of the Golden Monkey is available.
And
Alright.
I'm sure Chad knows, but since Brahma doesn't seem to, the reason why they memory hold it is the main character is the dad from Seventh Heaven.
Yep.
Because he likes little kids.
Yeah.
Yes. And decided to admit it in multiple interviews for some reason because he
And
thought that would help him.
We still haven't gotten rid of Star Trek the motion picture, even though it's the worst of them.
He was in that?
Yeah, he was the was the captain who got replaced by.
He's the guy who's in love with V'ger.
Oh, that guy.
What,
Him. Yeah, I know who you mean. Yeah.
You know who I always confuse him with, and this is weird because it's
People with actual acting talent.
No, the guy who was in
Human
the Star
beings.
Trek reboot. He played Pike in the Kelvin movies. They look very similar. Do you remember the Ashley Judd movie Double Jeopardy?
Yes.
The guy who played her husband he was the one who played Christopher Pike in the new Star Trek movies with Chris
Pine.
Chris Pine.
Oh,
Bruce yeah,
Greenwood.
thank you.
Yeah, Bruce Greenwood.
There we go. Hey, thanks for Script Doctor in the chat. Thanks. Yeah.
Because he's Quebec. He's
Hey,
from
Script.
Canada. He's Canadian.
Yeah. So I feel it's weird because they both Star Trek guys, but don't they kind of have a similar look and they played similar roles? So it was I kind of always in my head kind of mix them together.
Makes one wonder if there was the same character just in the Kelvin timeline.
Well, he was Pike, whatever.
Well, he wasn't Pike in Star Trek the motion picture.
Oh, yeah,
No.
that's true.
He was a
Talking
random
So is it Decker? Was it
Decker? Yeah, he was
Decker.
Decker.
Stephen Collins.
Yeah,
Okay.
Stephen Collins
Yeah.
is the one from Seventh Heaven and Tales of the Golden Monkey who is now gone for all the right reasons.
Yes.
I mean, if you're gonna cancel an actor and memory hole him, that's probably
We
inappropriate.
won't be seeing the dad from Beetlejuice in the sequel for the same reasons.
That's right.
Oh, well, at least they had the decency to kill him off and acknowledge his character. This is Batman Beyond.
Yeah. Almost sounded like the ECW theme for a second.
It sounded like Power Man 5000 or something.
This was really good too.
In 1999, it may have been Power Man 5000.
Yeah.
So
That's
Jeffrey Jones is the name of the actor. I remember he was in The Devil's Advocate
Or Papa Roach. Yeah, it sounded very Papa Roach.
Yeah. So you got Jeffrey
I do
Jones.
like the Batman animated series, Batman Beyond, is also worth watching.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because they even tied it in one of the last Justice League episodes. They bring in the
best
Terry
one.
McGinnis.
Is that Nightwing or what?
No,
Terry McGinnis is his own character.
Okay.
He like Harley Quinn was created for the cartoon,
but became so popular that he's become part of the comic canon. He's
like Miles Morales.
If you watch Justice League Unlimited and you watch the finale, I think of
it's the very last episode.
Is it the last or next to last?
One of those two. It's last or next to last. And
it's the one
Terry
where
McGinnis confronts Amanda Waller, who's old as shit, because this is way into the future, and it's pretty much breaks everything down about who he is to Bruce Wayne.
It has the best Batman moment ever put in a cart. It was when he's fighting the Royal Flush Gang, and Ace, who is a psychic child girl whose powers are getting out of control, like they souped her up on something.
That was in JLU.
Yeah, it's part of the same episode.
Is it?
Yeah, because remember, this is Amanda Waller talking about when she decided there always has to be a Batman. So so Ace's powers are going out of control, and Amanda Waller's like, we have to kill her, and Batman's like, I'll do it, and he goes in and he immediately breaks the thing to kill her, and he just sits with her, and she's like, she's like, I knew you're not gonna kill me, and he's like, no, you're just gonna stay with me, yes. And so his way of disarming her was just staying with a scared little girl, because he knew she was just a scared child. He wasn't going to kill her. Batman never kills. And Strip Doctor says it's the second to last episode. And
I saw something recently.
It's the last episode of the second season.
Which one is JLA? Because there is Justice League and there is Justice League Unlimited. I thought.
When we say JLA, we mean the Justice League.
It's the same cartoon.
Yeah,
they morph. So the first two seasons were Justice League.
Okay.
And then after that, when they continued it, they rebranded it Justice League Unlimited.
Okay.
So I think technically there might be 4 seasons.
4 or 5. I'd have to look at one of my.
But it's mainly because they split them up, right? The first 2 seasons, but I think the last season of Justice League Unlimited was one order, and they just split it. Oh, there you go, script. It's technically season 4, episode 13. Then there was a 5th season in total. So
I saw something recently too. I don't know if it was. I think it was from a comic book, and Batman's there with Ace, the Bat Dog, and Wonder Woman. She's like, "Oh, what's his name?" He's like, "Ace." "Oh, what'd you name him that for?" And blah blah blah, whatever. He's like, "No, I named it after a friend who had an aneurysm and died."
Yep.
Referencing Ace from the Royal Flush Gang.
It is if you watch, like, it's weird that it stacks. You don't have to, but if you watch Batman the Animated Series into the Superman Animated Series, into the Batman's New Adventures of Batman and Superman, into Justice League Unlimited, they like stack, and they're constantly re-referencing all the stuff within the Bruce Timm.
There's a couple of the animated movies that tie into Justice League Doom.
So is Batman Beyond, was that like Batman's back has already been broken and this is
he's just
another character comes in and he's playing old Batman?
Yeah, so Bruce Wayne is like in his 90s.
Yeah, Bruce is just like talking through a microphone.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I think I caught a couple episodes.
So Script Doctor is confirmed. Seasons 1 and 2 of Justice League were multi-parter stories. Seasons 3, 4, and 5 were Justice League Unlimited and 22-minute single episodes, excluding the finale. Yeah.
All I remember was the Flash was kind of a perv, and I liked it.
This is definitely boobs night for Brahma.
Hey,
Yeah, we've just got a running theme going on this one.
So, for those of us who do all game together, we need to make a mental note. Nothing where he can casually Brahma us tonight.
Is that Rocco's Modern Life?
Dun, 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 dun.
Maybe?
Maybe?
Nope, Ren and Stimpy.
Yeah.
Well, as I've already said, I didn't really like that show.
Tiny Toon Adventures. We'll pause just a second since Chad is just getting to the Ren and Stimpy and they got it.
Oh, they're getting it.
Yeah, Tiny Toons. There we go. Tiny Toons is great.
Little boy named Presley found a secret out this year.
That's
No idea.
Like Crime is doing the theme song.
Yeah, that's a generic kind of thing. That's
Big Brown Beaver.
Mummy's Alive.
What the hell is Mummies Alive?
The only time I've ever heard of that cartoon is Razor Fist is right.
I hope she is alive.
Oh, he talks about it sometimes?
He's mentioned that a few times. Yeah, that'd be probably his age bracket for stuff.
We have another inappropriate guess. that was not from the 1990s, just to clarify.
That was like
way earlier.
This is Futurama.
Futurama.
Yeah.
Man, that show getting brought back again. They're doing new episodes again for Futurama.
That last season they did. I don't know, it just wasn't good.
Spider-Man, the animated series from Fox.
Yep.
Which, by the way, was fantastic.
Yeah, it was
super
quite good.
entertaining. And if you want to talk about the first Marvel shared new universe, it was the Fox animated cartoons, like Iron Man, the X-Men. They all guest starred on Spider-Man.
At some point, they'd even brought in Guardians, didn't they?
No.
If they did, the old
one of the cartoons brought in Guardians because Groot was in at least one of the cartoons.
No, none of the 90s ones.
No. And if they brought in the Guardians of the Galaxy at that point, it would have been the one from the 70s, which did not have any of the characters that anybody knows now.
Yeah, I mean, the original Guardians were actually Sylvester Stallone's character, Starhawk, and
The only one that carried over
Okay, it
from
may
both
not have been in
Yondu.
'90s
Yondu.
then, but,
Yeah.
but one of the cartoons brought in Guardians.
Yeah, you're thinking the Earth's Mightiest Avengers, Earth's Mightiest Heroes, and
May have been.
and then Ultimate Spider-Man, which also crossed over with that one on Disney. They brought in Guardians.
Okay.
Yeah.
New Avengers is what Shifty Jism is saying.
Well, the new Avengers cartoons, they were called.
And I would disagree, Chad, that
Yeah.
the 90s Spider-Man cartoon was the first shared universe. I'd go all the way back to the 80s with Spider-Man and his Amazing Friends.
Oh, that's true because they
had episodes with the X-Men. I believe Iron Man was in an episode.
Yeah, they had Captain America. They had they had all. Actually, it goes before. It was actually before the
That
and his
whole run
Amazing
of
Friends.
60s.
It was the early '80s, just Spider-Man, the animated series. Like there was an early '80s one that led right into
Are you
Spider-Man.
talking about
as
the one that
Amazing
everybody
Friends.
remembers, that everybody knows the theme song?
No, that's the 1960s one.
Okay, making sure.
That one was weird because that one actually had some animation. At the same time in the 1960s, they did cartoon versions of the Avengers, Captain America, and
Fantastic Four,
and they would
Iron
actually
Man too. I think
It was an Iron Man when it's
But what was interesting is the way they did that is they took the actual art, like the 11 by 17 panel, and they would cut it up and use it to make the animation. So they were destroying Jack Kirby original art constantly. Just to make these, like, if you remember 70s, like there was the
I've
theme,
seen a
like
few of those.
when Captain America throws his mighty shield, like they all had like little like, and
Catchy
it was
theme songs.
and it was, if you look at it's very stilted animation because they're basically taking, it's almost like stop motion of
just
actual
moving it a little,
of comic art that they're just moving on a thing and taking a picture. Script Doctor says Spectacular Spider-Man crossed over with Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes. Then they were canceled, and Ultimate Spider-Man used Guardians and crossed over with a new Avengers. So, yeah. So though Disney was cross-pollinating their animated shows in the 20 teens, the Ultimate Spider-Man show is pretty good. The Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes is probably the best Avengers cartoons that they've ever made. It condensed a lot of storylines that are straight out of the comics and did them well. They even did the Beta Ray Bill Corbinite story with Thor. They did Operation Galactic Storm. It was surprisingly good. I was like, this is weird. Like, they're actually doing a good job, and so they canceled it. And they changed it because they wanted to do a more actiony show that wasn't as good.
Longest music trivia ever.
I was thinking something like that too.
Oh, wait till I do my metal band name. You guys are gonna have fun with that. I've been gathering stuff up. There's a few even I had to double think. What is that thing?
Earthworm Jim.
It's possible.
No idea.
It is possible.
I don't think
It's just a
Earthworm
guess.
Jim.
He did have a 90s cartoon.
Oh,
Stupid dogs!
never heard of it.
Another very early Cartoon Network original.
Never heard of it.
Oh, Soulmate, I guess.
No, that was for the last one.
Hysteria.
I do kind of remember.
Hysteria
her.
X for me.
I never heard of Hysteria.
I'm betting it's something from Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
Or Cartoon Network. It had either one. Rocco's Modern Life. There it is.
Nickelodeon.
Yep. Soul
got it.
Count Dracula.
That is Ace Goes Coast to Coast.
Oh,
That does count as an animated 90s show, I guess. Yep.
Hello, I am Space Ghost.
Bobby's World.
Yeah. Soul Assassin was a couple guesses too early on that one, but I think you're right. I think it's Bobby's World.
Soul Assassin's living in the future.
He's Mike Zero.
That's where I usually am.
Hercules.
No. No, that's Superman the animated series.
The animated series.
Yeah.
That's a big, strong guy. Same thing.
6 of one, half dozen the other. Yeah. This was also really good though too.
What I liked about the Superman animated series is they avoided the power creep. They actually seemed to cap his power so he wasn't just unlimited in what he did.
Yeah, they did that with Justice League and Justice League Unlimited as well.
You kind of have to do that if you're going to have Superman be a recurring character.
Yep.
One time in Toontown, there was Cat Jack had it all. Fortune and fame, top of the
Toontown.
Something about a cat.
It's not Bonkers.
you are.
Bonkers. It was Bonkers.
Is that another
the-
Disney one?
Yeah, it was. This is Freakazoid. I'm letting it run to try to get through it.
Well, chat's still getting it, so.
Oh, what is this, like a Seinfeld cartoon? I don't know.
Is that Hey Arnold?
Football head?
Yep.
Oh, well,
Soul got it. That's the Tick.
Yep.
Yeah.
Never liked the Tick.
Why do you?
I
never
thought
like-
it was
that was
great.
great. American Made. American Made might be one of the funniest characters.
I mean, this was a great cartoon. The Patrick Warburton live action was better, and then the most recent one was not.
I didn't mind the most recent one. They had Stanley with a C playing the Tick, and it's pretty good.
Well, the problem I had with it was the person who introduced me to the Tick at the same time also introduced me to Cerberus. the aardvark.
Yeah.
And he also he just eventually turned into a pretentious prick after a while. So anything for a while there, anything that I can remember from him from being in when I was in school, I was like, yeah, no interest. Don't care.
It's like the Tick had the best lines. I mean, Chairface Chippendale as the villain, like Spoon. What was the really old like red, like they actually made it like, oh, it's a villain from the 1940s, but he aged, so he's actually like 90 and he can't do it.
Well, I mean, I also have a problem, at least me personally, with and Slender might get this reference, the Paladum archetype.
Little wooden boy, the best sidekick.
Yeah. But
Sometimes,
I mean, it wasn't a common thing when the Tick did it.
No, I agree on that. But at the same time, like just that whole Paladum concept kind of annoys me.
I am nigh invulnerable
now.
Yeah, I mean, some people I know can pull it off, right? Like one of the guys I follow on YouTube, his channel does a lot of tabletop gaming, and he likes to play a Paladum once in a while, and it's fucking hysterical. But other people do, and it's like, no, you don't really know what makes that archetype work, do you?
I don't know. I just know that Patrick Warburton was probably the best casting for the Tick.
Yeah.
When they did the live action one.
That was fantastic.
X-Men, the animated series. Yeah. Who doesn't? I mean, that's probably one of the most recognizable.
Well, we just heard it last year, too. Or this year.
Oh, looks like we're...
That's it, huh?
I didn't keep track, but we did.
I didn't realize we were keeping score.
Combined, we probably got about 40.
I'm gonna go more like 30, dude.
Everybody got X-Men. I think between chat and us, we got most of them.
Yeah,
chat counts.
Yeah.
Tina says this music trivia tons of fun. Soul Assassin is king of cartoon theme songs.
True.
Did y'all see that Fox tribute that Deadpool made? I mean, his movie, the entire Deadpool and Wolverine movie was
like the after credits.
Yeah. X-Men, the Caitlyn Jenner story.
No, none of the X-Men ran over anybody with their car.
I think that would technically still be the XY men.
I'm actually trying to think on that one, bro. That might have happened in an X-Men book at some point, actually.
But not the movies.
The 90s kids.
Movies, no.
It was in Twitter today, all the X films, so we'll have to check that. I guess Ryan Reynolds.
He's been pushing hard for everybody that made cameos to get their own movies again. Except for probably Jennifer Garner, because
that was
already horrible.
Yeah.
And it's weird to say this about anybody in Hollywood, but he just seems like a genuinely nice guy.
Well, he's worth more than he's worth $1 billion now.
Aviation Gin, the phone company that he has.
Sold Mint Mobile sold for $1 billion. I think his share was worth $300 or $400 million.
He bought a soccer team and he has
quadrupled minimum the value of it.
If you haven't watched that show, you should, because that show is fantastic.
Welcome to Wrexham.
Welcome to Wrexham it's not anything that you would associate with Ryan Reynolds. We're getting the weird popping again.
It's something with your setup.
I didn't move.
No, I'm hearing it too, though, and I'm on a wireless.
Welcome to Wrexham has been fantastic. Him and Rob McElhaney buying a soccer team in, the oldest stadium in England is where this team plays. And they're renovating it. They have gotten the team promoted twice in the last 3 seasons, which is almost unheard of. It's a fantastic show. It's just one of those documentary type shows where the soccer is actually in the background. They're really focusing on the people of the city. And it's good.
See. Bad Take Bojan says, I'd like to meet Ryan Reynolds and Paul Rudd. They seem like really fun guys. Apparently the Ambien dreams are starting to come out.
I mean, the part that sucks for me is all the people I at some point would have wanted to meet that was a celebrity turned out to be a scumfuck.
Soul Assassin said he sent us the
Yeah.
Schwarzenegger
I was really sad to see Jeff Bridges got added to my list of celebrities that I don't really give a shit about anymore.
Yeah, the dude's a bitch.
So what you sent Soul Assassin, and it's cool. This is what it played over the end credits of Deadpool and Wolverine. It's the montage of the behind the scenes and movie clips set to Green Day's time.
Good Riddance.
Time I think was it
the song's name is Good Riddance. The subtitle is Time of Your Life.
I'm taking over. We got to wrap this thing up. We're an hour and a half over. What's everybody got?
Times.
We're an hour and 35 over. The Bullpen Sunday mornings. Come check out me and Little Chad doing the political show, and we've got a little bit to talk about this week.
I am getting inside information on what it's like to actually be a sergeant major handling deployments to war zones,
and I would like Slender Dad and Mad Cheesemo to come on to talk about Stolen Valor this Sunday, because
I'm definitely available for that.
We've got some interesting stuff about that I think everybody knows who's in the know.
Yep. The walls are closing in.
Yeah. But we also don't want him out of the race.
I've actually got something for once there, Slender.
What do you got?
Tomorrow night, I will be streaming at 10 p.m. Eastern Time on my YouTube channel with at least Aaron Sparrow and whoever else decides to join. And we'll be talking about his upcoming comic book release, Kneel Before Doomface. Among other things, I'm sure. And if you've never heard Aaron Sparrow talk about comics and stuff he's into, he's a good dude. Funny as hell, too.
He is.
I'm trying to roll through this fast. Did you say a time?
10 p.m.
10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time?
Yes, Eastern Standard Time.
Right. The right time. 70s, what you got?
Monday's show is about the movie War Games. So we're going to be playing a game. Shall we play a game? Yes, global thermonuclear war. Nuclear war.
The scary part is they did make a video game about that movie.
Yeah, so surprising, isn't it? So we're talking about War Games on Monday. Should be a lot of fun. Probably get quite a good crowd for that. And I think tomorrow I'm going to try and get a video about a Korean movie I just watched earlier today, which was fucking awesome, called Hijack 1971. An absolute thrill ride. So I want to get a video about that tomorrow.
Yeah, just remember, 70s, when it comes to the 90s cartoon theme song trivia, the only way to win is not to play the game.
That's right, and that's how I played. I won by not playing. Where was Count Duckula? Did I miss it?
That wouldn't have been 90s. I think Count Duckula was like a 70s or 80s cartoon.
No, I'm pretty sure Count Duckula was 90s.
My sister was really big into that when she
was
young.
That one I would have got.
I remember watching Count Duckula when I was a kid in the 80s, so it was definitely older than
that. Save that for next time.
Is that
no
the
more
one
talking.
where the dog does the Hiles
I'm
as it
killing
walks
it.
across the room?
It's gotta die.
1980.